welcome back.
Yep.
Episode 21.
21.
I can't believe that. Congratulations to us for hitting 20, but we're here on 21 with a local pickleball player, a veteran, a Navy veteran, Nick Peterson. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're excited to learn about you.
Exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited. It'll be good. We've had like great conversation with the last two vets that we've had on, and one of which neither of us knew Alicia before we like invited her into my home to talk.
A little strange after the thought. It was an afterthought.
Yeah, we were like, wait a second, should we be running background checks on people? We did not do that for you, but we know you, so
maybe you should have. How well do you know me?
Yeah, exactly. But I just thank you for coming. I think this is a great segment that we're doing this month to honor our local veterans. And
it's nice to have a different perspective of branch, right? Because we had Marine, we had Air Force, and now we have Navy.
Yeah. So, it'll be really interesting. Yeah.
It's not something I get to talk about often, so this is fun.
Oh,
that was good.
Exciting.
Go down memory lane a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll just jump into our highs and lows. And Rob, you know the drill.
Yep.
You're up.
Yep. So I would say a low is I got a call from my mom, and my dad's cancer's back, and they think it's moving into his bones. So, that's a little tough to not necessarily emotionally deal with right now because it's still fresh and we don't know the situation as of right now. But I know in the next probably, I have a feeling I only have about 5 years left with him. And I don't know why, but I just have a gut feeling I only have about 5 years. So I went to therapy Friday, and it's been a while. And she has the same feeling. And she's also like more into the spiritual side of stuff, which I think it's kind of hokey.
I know you do.
But
then to kind of have that reassurance.
It almost solidifies, the validity of my feeling, because she's like, I'm getting 3 years. So I'm like, okay. So she's like, you need to take a little bit more time and travel back to Pennsylvania to spend just a little bit more time, maybe reconcile some issues that you've had in the past. Just to clear the air.
Kind of get closure for yourself.
And then, so I'm looking forward to this. I actually travel back to Pennsylvania next week for deer season. Yeah. And it's going to be a good time. I'm going to take him. I'm going to ask him if he can go with a walk with me, and we're just going to talk about stuff and, express my feelings and actually just gratitude, because it's my stepdad. So he's been in my life, pretty much my whole life. I think they got together when I was around 2. But he's always been there for me, and taking on children from another marriage can be tough. So I got to commend him on doing that and raising me. It wasn't the best situation, but there was a lot of good things and morals that he passed on to me that, I just want to praise him and give him thanks for that. Yeah. And then tell him he was an asshole during these parts.
I think it's really big of you, to be able to kind of forgive him and maybe not forget, or maybe you haven't had a chance to forgive him for certain things, but to be able to kind of look past that to kind of like also express the gratitude. And so it's like you can see both sides, right? Yeah. Like, and I really...
And he's not the type of person that is ever very emotional, right? He doesn't talk about his feelings or anything like that. I think this should be a pretty good conversation. And he might not be able to express he might not be able to give what I'm wanting him to give, but, the effort's going to be there. So it should be good.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that he's sick. That's tough. Yeah. My father has cancer right now, too, with leukemia.
Really?
And, it's so, everything has a finality feeling to it, right? And you start counting, is this the last of this, or you're counting on years, or, how many more opportunities you're going to have to have those moments with him. So, it's kind of being in the military and being away for 21 years, I kind of have like resentment of not being able to live by my parents as an adult and experience that. It has been nice being away from that, all the family drama and stuff that happens. But I feel like, I don't know why I feel this way, but I feel like I owe them me being close and,
So you said you have feelings of resentment, like resentment
for joining the military and moving away and not being close to them and helping out when they needed help, or being able to see them during the holidays, because I would go maybe a year without seeing them and stuff. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It's dumb to think that, but it's just how I feel.
Yeah. So it's not dumb. I mean, they're your thoughts and feelings, and you're entitled to them. So
that's true, but I'm grateful for what I have been given in this life, and I'm not a resentful person. Mm-hmm. I don't regret, is what I meant to say. I don't regret my decisions, right? Because I'm blessed to have what I have now. Mm-hmm. So,
well, and I think you're allowed. I mean, you're human, and so I feel like you're allowed to have multiple feelings at one time.
Yeah.
And so you can have feelings of like gratitude and resentment for whatever, right? Like I think you've mentioned on the podcast, and I could be completely wrong, so correct me, but you went into the military to kind of get away from that situation, right?
Yeah.
And so
because it was toxic.
Now, right. And so it's like maybe your feelings of resentment, and you know, I don't want to tell you how to feel, but and I could be completely wrong, but maybe they're kind of everywhere, right? It's like I have resentment for myself for moving away, but I also have resentment for them because they pushed me away into this. And so
I think that's valid. Yeah.
But you're allowed to feel both those.
And the word regret's tricky too, right? I think regret's only worth having if you didn't learn something from it, right?
Well, I learned a lot.
So regret doesn't really apply, because you can look back in your life at the errors you made and say you regret them would imply that you didn't actually learn something from them. Otherwise, they're lessons, right? You win some and you learn some.
Right.
True.
Right. So
true.
That's a really good way to put that. Actually,
would be a better word for that then.
No, but I mean, you if you learned something from all those moments, then they were worth having.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yep.
Huh. They probably made you who you are.
You got to talk about this in therapy this week. I got to talk to Dr. P on this. Yeah. Okay. So I'm really sorry to hear about your dad. I hope they can like get a good treatment plan together.
He's stubborn. You know, if they offer him some type of chemo or something like that, he'll probably say no, to be honest. I mean, he's the type of guy, he told me this when he's like, you know, if I get close to my deathbed or something, he's like, just take me out in the woods and shoot me.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, no. Like,
oh, you said no?
That's weird. I was like, why would you say that? He's like, because that's how I want to go. I don't want to be in a bed, you know, bedridden and stuff. He's like, just take me out to the woods, because that's what he loves, being outdoors.
Well, that's called homicide.
Right. Yeah. He's just that type of guy.
Yeah.
You know?
That's tough.
Yeah.
That is hard. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I'll get through it.
So with that, did you have any highs?
Sorry to ask. I played pickleball twice on Friday, once in the morning, once evening, and I felt like I played really well. It was enjoyable. And then I was going to play Saturday morning, and my body's like, you're done.
Yeah.
Right, because I'm old and broken and stuff. So, yeah.
And then what happened this morning?
I was supposed to play pickleball, but
and you no-showed.
Let's just say I was hungover.
Yeah. I'm just curious, though, like, what thought process was going through your mind at 2 a.m. when you wrote the group me?
That
somebody would wait, like somebody would see that at 2 a.m.?
Well, the one guy that asked, hey, what time is
do you think we playing? Yeah, but he didn't write that at 2 a.m.
He didn't?
No.
Or was it like midnight?
That was you that wrote at 2 a.m.
And that's when you saw his. You wrote it at 9.
Gotcha.
I feel like he did write it pretty early.
Oh.
And then you said that, and I'm like, I was like counting people, and I'm like, and people were like walking around. I was like, everybody stay where you're at. I got to count. And I was like, why do I feel like we're down a person? And then I had to
read their messages.
Oh, okay. And then we went in. Yes, this is our fault. I went in, and I was like, who is missing? And I was like, oh, Rob, because how dare we not look at our messages at 2 a.m. Luckily, somebody stayed until Andy did wind up coming.
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
okay, cool.
He's just 15 minutes away. So it worked out. But of course, I have to give you shit for it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
I mean,
I am who I am.
It was 2 a.m. and I was like, why can I not sleep?
Yeah. You're like, I'm not waking up for 10 a.m.
I mean, like I said earlier, I didn't go to actually fall asleep until like 3:30 or something like that.
And you said you only got like 3 hours of sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were awake for pickleball. You could have come.
I could have come, but
I get it. I'm just giving you.
I was already downtrodden. I was already down from being on the bottom court the week prior. So all day.
Yeah. I know. I won once. I started on bottom, and I won once. So I made it to middle, and we just have 3 courts. So we just have like the losers from the top court go down to the bottom. So everybody kind of cycles through because we have different skill levels. And I just stayed on. So the people that lose on middle court just stay on middle court. Yeah. And I stayed there the whole time. But I mean, we had some close matches. They were like 10-12. I think we had a couple of those. Yeah. And then the last game was like to Justin Villadown.
Oh, jeez.
I did. I was like, hey, did you see that I tagged? Because I talked about how hard he hits the ball.
Yeah.
Which is great. It's great. But it's also like he's like a flying nun. He just comes from nowhere and then like slams the ball down my throat.
Oh, I know Justin. Yeah, I played with him for the first time the other day. After our group was done, I jumped in with some other people.
Yeah.
I just met him for the first time, but I know exactly.
Yeah, he's so nice.
Yeah.
He's so fun to play with. So I just
dude with the long beard, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then the last shot of the day, guess what it was? I got Nasty Nelson.
Really?
Right in the freaking elbow.
Oh, man.
Thanks a lot, Zach. And he's like, you weren't even paying attention. I was like, because I wasn't expecting to get hit with the ball. I was like, way to send me home. Yeah, so maybe that's my low. But anyway, not really. He's like, and then he sent me like,
it's all right.
yeah, I have plenty. Don't you worry. We'll circle back to me.
Give you extra time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's actually a good high. Played a little pickleball.
Yeah, I mean
5 a.m. Did you show up at 5?
I did.
Gross.
Yeah, I was there at 5 and had some good matches. I left at 6:30 because I had to be at work at 7. So
yeah.
But luckily I got to work home I typically work at home on Fridays.
Oh, so. Okay. That is lucky.
Yeah.
Do you play at 5 a.m.?
We play at 6.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, almost exclusively at 6. That's about the only time I play. Well, sometimes in the evenings, but most times we have like a Monday group. Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, we always start at 6 to 8 or 6 to 9 on Saturdays. And then I'll mix
6 a.m. on Saturdays?
Yeah, and then I'll mix in other days if games get put together. But those are kind of the set times. Just it's easy for people to get to work after and stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
And
Yeah, I can usually wake up for pickleball, but I can never wake up for work.
The other days I don't seem to get up as early. I don't know why.
That's funny.
I was anxious to get up and get ready for work.
Yeah, you're just sleeping in your pickleball clothes with your paddle. So excited. That's funny. Did you have anything else?
No, that was about it.
All right. What about you?
My turn. Let's see. Yeah, I told you this was like the hardest thing for me to think about it when you told me what we talk about, and I'm like, gosh, this is the most stressful part. I think my we go lowest first.
Well, you can do whichever.
Yeah, whichever.
So I guess my low would be just realizing that my knees are hurting, and that for me, I don't hold still very well. I always want to be doing something like hiking or pickleball or whatever it is. I'm always doing a ton of it, and my knees have been giving me fits. So I'm coming to the realization I need to get them figured out, because I've had like tendonitis and stuff like that over the years, just for different things, and when I raced or whatever, but it would always go away, and this has just been lingering most of summer. So I gotta just like bite the bullet and go get it figured out. And
when you raced, like running.
I've done a lot of running, triathlons.
Oh, okay.
Bike racing for a really long time, but we can get into that too. Yeah, that's kind of my previous life.
Oh, that's cool.
So anyway, I've felt my knees in the past, but it always kind of went away. But this is I lit them up early in this summer on a trail run, and they haven't calmed down. So I got to figure them. So I was like, all right, I'm going to bite the bullet, and this winter I'm going to figure out my knees. So that was kind of my low, realizing that I got to figure that out and slow down a little bit.
Have you figured out like what agitates it more? Like,
well, I think it's just a tendinopathy, just my patellar tendon, it's aggravated. So tendinitis, usually happens from like, it's usually like an overuse injury, and then if you don't let it rest, it becomes chronic, right? Mm-hmm. And that's I think what I'm dealing with. I don't think and I probably have a little bit of arthritis in there just from just genetics, and I've used my legs a lot. So, but yeah, I'll figure it out, and I'm comfortable. I'll figure it out. I take a long time. I always want to let things fix themselves, and then finally I'm like, all right, this is not fixing itself. I got to do something about this. So
I do the same thing.
I will. I'll figure it out.
I know.
So that was my low, I guess, and that's not a real big low.
Until you go to the doctor. No, it's actually wrong. Sorry, I'm not going to put that energy in the universe, actually.
Weren't we talking about manifesting
earlier?
Exactly. Thanks a lot. Great. I'm out of here. So my high would be, I think, just the fact that I didn't have a lot of lows this week.
Oh,
it's been a wild ride over the last while for me, and this week felt pretty chill and pretty routine. I think emotionally, mentally, physically, everything felt pretty good. Even my knees felt decent this week, despite the realizations. Played plenty of pickleball. Got out on a hike the other day, like I love to do. So it was all a good week without a lot of extracurricular emotions or drama. So that was a high for me.
That is good.
It's all relative, right?
Yeah. We were talking about that a few weeks ago about like not really feeling like you're on a high, but not feeling low, like just this level of contentment and how actually like comforting that is. Yeah. But because like maybe you're going through whatever you're going through in life, right? Like your job sucks or whatever, you're just riding like this wave. Yeah. And so then that seems to almost become like your norm. Yeah. So then when you're here, you're like, well, this feels weird.
Status quo is nice sometimes.
Yeah. Right? Oh, it's so nice.
It's hard to get over though. I mean, you being a very active person, I consider myself an active person. I can't sit still either. Mm-hmm. And if it is just a level week of nothing really going on, then I feel like I'm doing something wrong.
Yeah. I'm the same way if I'm not productive.
Yeah. No, I felt like I had a lot going on. They were all good things. I was productive. I played a lot. I worked hard, played hard, and I felt good. So I think that's a win for me.
Yeah, that is great.
Relative to what it's been lately.
Yeah. I was recently furloughed for the government and I'm back at work now, so whatever. And I just wish I could like not have a job. It's not realistic. I did talk about that extensively in therapy this week. I like kept a journal every day because I was like, I cannot just sit home. I want to be productive during this time and I want to be doing good. So like I tried to like volunteer my time and I tried to do a lot of good things, but it's also because a part of me cannot just sit still. And I always have like a running list of things I want to do or should be doing, or I don't know. So then I felt really good during that time to like knock a bunch of stuff off. But I guess that's probably my high and my low is that the furlough's over and I'm back to work. I like working. I've worked since I was 15. I've had a time in my life when I worked 3 jobs at one time. Like I like to stay busy and I like to, I don't know. I like when I'm good at something, I like to do it, right? And I'm typically good at the jobs that I do and I see growth, and that this year I haven't seen that. And so this year's been really rough at work because we've just kind of been in a stagnation, I feel like in my office anyways. And so then going back this week was kind of bittersweet. Like, yes, I'm excited to get paid again because I wasn't getting paid during the furlough. Yeah. So that's good. But then like going back to the uncertainty is scary, I think. And so Thursday, I think I just had a lot of anxiety going back. And then Friday was better. And I'm sure next week will get better. And the weekend, it's going to be fine. And then I have employees that are kind of all around Ogden in multiple buildings, and we're getting all moved on the 3rd of December to one building. And so that will be nice, even though it's a shithole. But it will be nice to be in one location. Like I was like brainstorming this week on like different activities and things I can do now that everybody's going to be in one location, which will be nice. Not that we couldn't get together before and do those things, but I think after like being out for a week or for a month, it was like I need to start like doing more with my team. Yeah. This year's just been rough and I think wonky for everybody, and so I'm kind of excited to get back to that part of the part of my job I love. Like I love leading teams. I love bringing people together and doing that stuff. So I'm excited for that. For kind of some of the ideas I have. We'll see if my team is. They're going to be like, that's dumb, and we're not doing that. And we actually don't like you. We decided.
You had way too much time on your hand during that month, and you came back with all these ideas.
Yeah, right? They're going to be like, Desi, pump the brakes. Yeah. And then so
I'm keep her busy.
Yeah, exactly. And they're going to be like, so that was kind of my high and my low, I think. And then I had a couple other little highs and lows. So we went back to work on Thursday, and then I booked 2 vacations on Friday. So nice. I'm going to Disney with a girlfriend the first week in December. Oh, and my sister unfortunately is coming to Utah. Fortunately, she's coming to Utah for the reason she's saying is really unfortunate. She had a friend, a sorority sister, killed herself. So she has to come back for the services and things. But I'm happy that I'll get to spend a couple of extra days with her. So she'll be here. And then that next weekend, I'm going to Disney for a couple of days just with a friend. And so that'll be fun. And then my sister, my dad, and I booked a cruise for Christmas. And so we'll actually be on a cruise ship on Christmas Day. Oh, well.
I've done that before. It's pretty
so
fun.
Excited. I've never done that before.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I've never been on a vacation other than like visiting my dad or like my family coming here or you don't know this, but I don't have family that lives here. And so holidays are always, the last couple of years have just been like wonky. And then going through a divorce, it was wonky. Like, it's just like weird. Like, I'm just trying to keep busy, but also like, I don't want to do anything. Like, trying to think of what I'm going to do on Thanksgiving. And I know I'm going to play pickleball. But then after that, I'm like, I think I'm just going to come home and have a couple mimosas and eat my little quiche that I love. Like, I always do that with my sister and my dad. We always did like little mini quiches from Sam's Club and mimosas while like the turkey's cooking.
So you're going to eat and drink your feelings is what you're saying.
Yeah, like everybody else on Thanksgiving, Nick. What are you talking about? I'm your average American.
Eat my feelings, but they're delicious.
And usually I'll watch the parade, but I don't have cable, so I don't know how I'll do that. Maybe it's I don't know. Maybe it's on the interweb. I don't know.
Sure you could YouTube it. It's probably live on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm sure. I can find a recording of it or something because there's supposed to be a big French bulldog balloon in the parade this year, in the Macy Day parade. My sister lives in New York City, and so her and my dad actually did the parade in person last year.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
so I was initially going to do that, but then with the government shutdown, I didn't want to like book anything, and now flights are so expensive to go for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's not worth it. I'll have to just go next year. So yeah, just a lot of actually really good stuff this week, despite having to go back to work, I guess. I got to play pickleball. I celebrated a friend's 50th birthday last night. So, again, supported the high school pickleball stuff. I do that every Saturday, and that's always so fun, just watching those kids grow and have fun and play. And it's just like really charismatic to be at the Pickler from 12 to 6. If anybody wants to show up, it's super fun to be there and see these, high school teams compete is super fun to watch and be a part of. So I've really enjoyed that. And then, just got to do dinner last night, and then we went and played pickleball after dinner and drinks, which is not recommended. But
did you play better or worse?
I played really well. No.
There you go.
I did. Well, this is what I get because I tried. Bonnie and I played against George and Nico, and she's like, "We should hit every ball at Nick." And I was like, yes, because it was his birthday. And so we're doing that. And then I was like, I'm going to try to nasty Nelson him, like 3 or 4 times. And I got it on camera, but I never could get it because I have shitty aim, which tells me I need to be drilling more. Or like he was quick to move out of the way. And so then I feel like that is karma. And so that's why I got nasty Nelson today. So yeah, those are my highs and lows. But yeah, so good. I mean, a good week, you know. It's fine. Life's
good all around,
right?
pretty much.
Yeah, I feel like. Yeah. So, okay, so we'll just get into learning more about you. And if you want to start off just kind of telling us, why you chose to go into the military. We mentioned before you were in the Navy, maybe how long you were in, what your job was. Tell us all the stuff and things.
Okay. So I tell like Chunk from Goonies where he's like, when in the 3rd grade, start from the very beginning. They're like, no, we don't need to know that.
Yeah, when you learned what the military was.
Yeah, right, yeah. Okay, so I guess... But to start, so I am not local from Davis County. I grew up in Colwood Heights, lived by Brighton High School, but went to Olympus High School, and went to the University of Utah. I was married in '98, continued to live and go to school, University of Utah, and lived in that area. When I graduated, I applied to dental school, and after I was accepted to dental school, the Navy reached out and they had a scholarship program. So they offered me, I could apply for the scholarship. And so I applied for it, got the scholarship, and the way it works is that you owe them 1 year for each year of schooling that they pay for you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
So it was a 4-year scholarship. Dental school is 4 years after undergrad. And so went to Ohio for dental school. So you go to dental school not through the military; they just pay for it. Mm-hmm. So went to Case Western in Ohio, Cleveland. Went to dental school, and then at the
And you were married at that time.
Yeah, married with.
Okay.
So I had 1 kid already when I went to Ohio. Had 2 born while I was in dental school.
Oh wow.
And then when after graduating, they essentially come and say, hey, kind of make your wish list of places you'd like to go. Right? You guys have probably seen how that works. It's a loose list. Nothing's guaranteed, but everybody's raising their hand for San Diego and stateside stuff. And we're like, gosh, this is the time to do something fun. Let's go big here. This is the chance. Like, it's much harder later in life to just uproot your family life and go do something. So we raised our hands for Okinawa, Japan.
Oh wow.
And of course I thought that was a great opportunity, and I didn't realize that they were like just thrilled that anybody would even volunteer, right? So, because everybody wanted to go stateside, and everybody wants to stay home, close to home, and especially California, and you know, in Pendleton and things like that. But so we got it. They gave us Okinawa, so we went to Okinawa, Japan, for 3 years, which was like tropical paradise.
Yeah,
I mean, literally tropical paradise. You were Air Force, so Kadena Air Base is right there. I worked on Kadena for a while, it's literally 2 minutes from our home is, you know, white sandy beaches surrounded with coral reefs and I mean, just, you know, see 100 feet straight to the bottom, scuba diving, snorkeling.
Wow. Yeah, I've heard that's like the best area for scuba diving.
It's a mecca. Yeah, it's the Hawaii of Asia. If it weren't so far away, we'd all be going there all the time. It's like a Hawaii, but just not as commercialized. And like a Saturday morning, we would, you know, round up a bunch of our friends and drive down, you know, seriously like 5-6 minivans of people that we all had something in common, same age, young kids, everything. And we'd go down to park in someone's cornfield, walk down a little beaten path, and go into a cove that's surrounded by coral reef on either side, so kids can't escape. The water is, you know, anywhere from a foot to 3 feet deep for 100 yards out with massive, like, you know, coral reef, you know, caves and holes. You put your kid in a life jacket and a snorkel with a banana in his hand and let him lay there face down for hours. We'd spend 10, 12 hours there and you know, dive through the caves, and it was heaven there.
That's awesome.
This is making me feel a certain way because my ex-husband is currently stationed there.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to say stationed because he's not military, but he is a DoD civilian, which is what I was. So when you said Air Force and I said yes, I wasn't active duty. Rob was Air Force active duty.
Oh, I see.
But I was a DoD civilian. But yeah, he's there and he just sounds like this. Just sounds magical.
Not to make you feel not to make you feel worse, but you should be really upset.
I am.
I am super jealous because
I'm very jealous.
It is absolutely amazing. We had such a good time. We had a really good core group of friends. I mean, a big group, and we all lived really close to each other on base. And we would travel together, and it's a good jump off point for other places. Get to see other places, and
that's awesome.
But and for the kids to get to grow up there, it was truly an amazing experience. I loved every bit of it. And then professionally there, so I'm a dentist for the Navy at the time, right? So that's what that's how I pay them back, is I do dental work for them,
right?
But you asked earlier about rank and stuff like that. So I enter the Navy as a professional, at least in this situation, you enter in as a lieutenant, so it's an 03. You guys are a little different in Air Force, but Navy would be 03, or it's an 03 in both, but Navy, that's a lieutenant. And so I entered as a lieutenant, and things professionally went very well for me there. And at the end of that time, our plan was to get out of the Navy because I owed them 4 years. It's 3 years there. We were going to extend one more year there and just be done, pay the scholarship back and just be done and come home. But at the end of those 3 years, the detailers were making their rounds, and there were like 30 something dentists between Okinawa and Hawaii. They're all part of the same group, and they came and asked me what my plans were, and I said, I already put my extension paperwork for that last year. I'm out of here. Oh, I didn't say that because you don't say that, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I already put my extension in. And they're like, oh, what are your plans? I'm like, just trying to be ambiguous and stuff. And they essentially said, the stories you only hear about, they said, well, if you could pick one place, where would you go? And I was like, and I jokingly said Spain, not even knowing that Road to Spain still existed. It's a military base, right, but it's super small, and I had heard rumors that it didn't even exist anymore. And turns out they were playing me the whole time. They knew that that's where I wanted to go for other reasons. I have a passion for like Spanish and stuff, and in my family and everything. Anyway, so they had come. I was the last person out of 33 people that they had talked to, and they kept that in their back pocket, and they baited me into it, and I bit, right. And he was like, "Oh, really? Road to Spain?" And he goes and talks to the other guy, and then comes back and says, "We've got a spot for you. There's a kid that's leaving. He's going to go to specialty school, and it's a one of one spot there, in like the garden jump off spot where everybody wants to go." And so they sent us to Spain. So we went to Spain for 3 years. And that was
so jealous.
And again, you should be. It was amazing. I'm not gonna lie.
We got it in the session.
It was it was awesome. So we were in Spain for 3 years. I worked at the military hospital there. Again, our house was literally like backed up to a forest that was part of the beach. And
this sounds miserable.
It was horrible. It was horrible. Yeah, But yeah, we had an amazing experience there. I had my youngest two are twin boys, and they were both born there. So
you have twins?
Yep. So I've got 5 boys. So 5 kids, 5 boys. The youngest two are twins. They range from 25 years old down to twin 16-year-olds.
Oh wow.
So, but my oldest 3 got to go to, they just went to public school. We lived off base and just put them in public school and didn't do anything on base. And they got to have a truly immersive experience there, which is, like I said, a whole nother thing that about me is I love Spanish, and we only speak Spanish in the home. And it's kind of this crazy thing. Me and my kids have never spoken English to each other. And
really,
yeah. So
Wait,
I'll just throw that out there.
Like right now,
yeah. So we had been doing that for a long time already.
Yeah.
For about 9 years, and so going to Spain was just a cool opportunity. And so they already spoke Spanish very, very well. It was as much their first language as English, and so we got to put them in just public school, and they assimilated really, really quick.
That's amazing.
And so we've continued to do that. It's just the only way we've ever known each other. So Spain for us was just like the culminating, event
you
of
still
everything.
You do that today?
Yeah.
That is so neat.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard of that.
Yeah, I know, it's weird.
Yeah, I love that.
Cool.
I had no intention of even letting that cat out of the bag because it raises lots of questions. Either
No,
people are like, that dude's a weirdo, or
No,
I think
but
that's
it is
so
odd. I
neat.
get, but yeah, that's all we've ever done.
Did you speak Spanish before you went?
So for me, it started with I did an LDS mission.
Oh, okay.
And I really just took to it. This sounds crazy, but nothing in my life has ever come easier than that did for me, which I didn't think was going to be the case. I took some in high school and it was horrible, and then when I went, I absolutely loved it and just ate it up, and it became just a passion of mine. And then after I majored in Spanish, and I taught Spanish for a little while. I worked as an interpreter for a while. I did a whole bunch of stuff with it, and I just loved it. So
oh my gosh!
When my oldest was born, I was like, what am I going to do with this? And so just a little bit after he was born, one day I was like, I'm going to start this, and then we started speaking Spanish to him, and he and I have never. And since that time, we've never, not with any of them have I ever spoken English. My youngest 2, I do a little bit for other reasons, but a little bit of English with them now. But especially the 3 oldest, like never.
This is so fascinating.
Like if I pull up my text messages, that are all in Spanish.
It's so fascinating. I love this.
And like our dinner table at home is like if they're speaking to me, it's in Spanish. They're speaking to my wife, it's in English. If I'm speaking to everybody, I'm speaking Spanish because she understands everything. Like it's a weird dynamic, but that's so weird.
So she understands.
It's not weird. It's unique.
Yeah,
like, very cool.
Unique. Yeah,
very, very cool.
We can call it weird, but it's cool to be weird.
Yeah.
I think stay weird.
Yeah. So to answer your question, yes, she does. She's gone along with them learning. If you think about how it goes, right? You start off talking, just simple sentence structure and nothing complex, and over and a lot of repetition. So she learns along with them.
Right.
And then as it gets more complex, she understands that. And then when we moved to Spain, she had been hearing that for 9 years and knew so much, could understand everything. That was the first time she needed to speak it, but then she was able to speak it within a couple of months. She was speaking very fluently, and we had a lot of Spanish friends. And unlike some of the other military members, we were able to just interact with the local people just because we.
Do you speak another language?
No, I barely speak English.
Same. So. Well, so I lived in Italy as a kid for 3 years, and so I learned Italian. And my parents will tell their friends and people they meet, like, "Oh, our girls spoke fluently." I don't remember speaking fluent Italian, but I do remember going to markets and and would speak Italian for my parents to some of either the person at the bar or the market, whatever. And then we moved to here. We moved to Utah, and then you have to take it was German or Spanish or sign ASL, which I wish I would have done ASL, but I was too self-conscious about my finger, so I never took it. And then, so I took Spanish, and now I can barely speak English half the time. You guys have heard me stutter through this podcast. So I think that is so neat.
Yeah, it was kind of different. It just made the experience of being in Spain. And obviously, we didn't have to go to Spain. We could have extended in Japan. But when they offered me that, like I said, they knew that. The word had gotten around, and people knew that because that was
that
hard.
you were obsessed.
I'm in Japan watching my kids play soccer, and I'm yelling to them from the sidelines in Spanish.
Oh,
yeah. It was all weird. So people knew. Everybody kind of knew us for that. And
they're like, "We're gonna get them, guys."
Yeah. So they had already talked to everybody else, and they came and they offered me that. And I mean, it was, like I said, it was hook, line, and sinker. I bit, and I could not take advantage of that opportunity. So
yeah, of course.
So yeah, it was. So I so I totally derailed us with all that. So
no,
that was
I loved that. Yeah.
So kind of weird, but so when I left, by the time I left Japan, so when I very first got to Spain, I put on 04, so I was a lieutenant commander. My experience in Spain was excellent. Was much harder to get out than I thought it'd be. You know, our plan originally was 4 in, 4 out and just move on with life, but it was a great experience. We loved the military. The people were great.
Right.
There's a sense of patriotism. Obviously, you
right.
love your country. You find a lot of purpose in what you're doing. It was truly an amazing experience. We had a very good life. You know, they don't. You know, as a dentist, I would make more money not being in the military, but the quality of life may not be any better, right? We were taking advantage every weekend. When you live in a place that you know is temporary, every opportunity you get to take advantage of where you are, you do it, right?
Yep.
And you move home, and you're like, oh, like it's just home, right?
Yeah.
You know, like I've seen more countries than I have states just because we lived there.
Same.
Right? It was way easier to jump off from Spain and go to Europe. It was like going to St. George.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But you just don't really take advantage of it. So we did then, and it just made for a really rich experience. And then I had to decide to get out or not. I had a lot of really good opportunities and a lot of really good offers to stay in. I had the opportunity to specialize in stuff, and if I would have stayed in. But the challenge of the military as a medical professional, at least, is that the longer you stay in, the less you do of your trade, right? So
correct.
You become an admin odontist rather than a dentist, right?
Oh,
so you start doing more and more, and already that was starting to happen as I moved up in rank.
Right.
I started having other collateral duties and responsibilities, and suddenly you're not doing very much dentistry. You're more of a military member than you are a dentist, and I didn't want that to be my future. Now I look back, I'm like, that could be nice because I do a lot of dentistry. But I don't love the political gamesmanship of what is the military. That's not my personality, and I don't think I would have thrived in that environment. But I had great experiences, made a lot of really good friends, interacted with people and culture both in the military and out of the military that's very different than the life I know here in Utah.
Right.
And it was just nothing but a positive experience. But ultimately we decided to separate. So that was in 2000. We moved here in 2012.
Okay.
Moved to Farmington. We built a house from Spain through emails and us drawing stuff on pieces of paper and taking pictures of them and stuff. And
that's brave.
And sent it to the guy building our house and built a house in Farmington. We found our lot on like Google Earth.
Oh wow!
Right? It was all wild, but did that. Moved here in 2012. And I joined a practice in Farmington. My in-laws had a dental practice there, or have had, and I still work in that same practice. Kids came back and assimilated pretty quickly. Going back to the Spanish thing, that was a little tricky for them because they actually, after living in Spain, their English wasn't very good.
Oh, okay.
Because we did so much, everything was Spanish.
Right.
They could speak it well, but reading and writing they weren't very good at, and so they had. That was when they were first starting all the Spanish immersion stuff.
I was just gonna say, did they have an English immersion?
So they had. Well, that's the way we utilized it, right? So
okay.
My oldest son was the first. He was part of the first class that went from start to finish through the first graduating group, I guess, of the Spanish immersion program. So, but when we first got back, we went to the elementary school that was very close to us and wanted to put him in Spanish immersion, not for the Spanish, but because we wanted to have them, not for the English, I would say, so they could have half a day in Spanish. They were way more comfortable in Spanish.
Yeah.
And at first they wouldn't let him in because they wanted him to have started at least in first grade. And I think my son was in 5th or 6th grade or something at the time. And then we ran into one of the professors in the hallway, and he heard us speaking Spanish, and they had very thick Castilian Spanish accents. And he was like, "Where are you guys? What is this?"
Yeah.
And we're like, "Oh, we just moved back." And he's like, "Hey, you can do Spanish immersion?" And we're like, "Oh, they won't let us." And he's like, "Come here." So he went to talk to the principal.
You guys could teach this.
He went to the principal. He's like, "Listen," because everybody goes there and like, "No, we speak Spanish. We watch Dora, right?" Like, because at first they were like, "Yeah," because we were like, "We really want to be in this," and they were like, "Sorry, you can't. You don't meet the criteria grade wise," and we couldn't convince them until he.
Had actually heard you.
He went to the principal and was like, "Let them in. They're going to be fine." And so they let the kids in, and I think it was a lifesaver because it allowed them to transition more slowly. Their easy half the day was a Spanish half, and then they could transition into the English half, and they learned quickly because once you're immersed in it, they're young
and all their friends were speaking English most of the time.
And they had English speaking friends in Spain as well. Other military members, they were friends with them, but all other parts of their life, and the reading and writing was really the thing they needed. So So, and I mean, they'd studied math and science and all those things all in Spanish. And so they hadn't done any of that in English. So,
that's so crazy.
So it was kind of, it worked for us in, a different way.
Yeah.
But it allowed them to assimilate really quickly. And I think the whole experience for them was, positive, culturally, right? I think they have, it opened their eyes to this great big world.
Right.
And I think they're very, very tolerant of other cultures and people. And I think they developed a love for other cultures and people. And I think we could all use more of that.
I agree. I think that's why my sister and I just love travel. And then I lived in England as an adult. But so I got to do a lot of the travel through Europe and stuff. So that was good. And my sister's just got the travel bug too. And then she moved away. And so, but I think that's the same thing. I feel like we got here and that wasn't common. It wasn't common that there was diversity and people that were really accepting of outside cultures.
To say the least.
I'm just going to say it. It just wasn't as accepted, especially when we were growing up. And I think more so now. But yeah, I feel like I owe a lot to the military in that same regard, just, because my parents let us have that opportunity. So good for you.
It's not only where you live, but it's also just the military itself. It's a diverse, it's the biggest organization around, right? It's huge. And people from all walks of life. And I love learning about people. I love breaking down barriers and getting to know people. And I want to hear their stories. I think it's so fascinating. That's one of the things that, drives me. I think in life, I love learning about people, and I had so many opportunities to do that in the military. And I played a ton of basketball for the Navy while I was there, just always on the base teams, and sometimes we would travel as a team and play other local pro teams and stuff. And it was awesome. It was
that's so fun.
Super cool experience, and I got to just, which is kind of difficult because an officer, you don't always get to interact with lower ranks, but that allowed me to do that. And it just so many great experiences like that I think contribute to my life, who I am.
I will say you talked about the rinks earlier, and my first experience with Navy rinks was when I was in Afghanistan, and I get there and they're like, oh, your boss is going to be this Navy captain. And I was like, I don't think so. And they're like, and I was like, I don't think so.
You're thinking a lieutenant or an 03.
Because I'm thinking, and I was like, I don't think that's going to be my boss. And they're like, it is. But they didn't say Navy captain. They just said this captain whatever. And I was like, I think you're wrong. You might want to check with your boss.
No, he's an 06.
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
He's your boss, I promise. He's everybody's boss.
Okay, yeah. And it was just interesting because then you also have your supervisor, but then you have the chief of staff. So I was on a panel, I guess, I was the G1. So I was kind of the same as all the colonels or full birds, we'll just say. So I kind of sat around the table with all of them, and then we had our chief of staff who was also an 06, but then he was all of our boss because of that. So when they came in and said that it was going to be a captain, I was like, you're wrong.
And they're like, listen, prima donna.
Yeah, exactly. And I wasn't trying to, but I was like, I don't think, and I mean, obviously I wasn't saying it like this, but because I was already very uncomfortable. I was the only civilian at the table. It was very uncomfortable, and I was very young, and it was very intimidating. I'm in a third world country, and for the first time I was like, I begged for this. I wanted this opportunity, and when I want something, I really go for it. And so I kept bugging the people at AFPC, which is the Air Force Personnel Center. And I kept bugging them. I'm like, any room for me? Any room for me? What about now? What about now? And so then I get there and I was like, what the hell did I do? Why would I want to come here? There's bombs here, guys. It's awful. Yeah. We're in a war zone. But it just was reality sunk in. And then, when I trying to understand how my position is similar to everybody else's, that's why when I got there and they're like, oh, and I was like, I don't think that's correct. Unless my job changed. But interesting. So I thought that was a funny little interesting. And then I meet him and he's got a full bird on, and I was like, I do a quick Google search, and I was like,
when you say captain,
Navy captains are 06s because they're the captain of the ship. In case anybody was, that's how I
that's
put it in my head.
So did you not have any enlisted subordinates?
So I worked with a lot of enlisted constantly, right? So I would be in a clinic with, a handful of their dentists, and then we would have
like the texts or whatever.
Tons of I mean, we had chiefs, and we had a chief that would kind of be the intermediary there, right?
Oh, okay.
But, so a chief and the whole crew, right? So so we had every rank, E1 to 9 just around doing all their duties, right? So we would interact with them every day. My assistants in dentistry were always enlisted. Our front desk personnel were always enlisted, and we would interact with them in all kinds of other ways too. Right? I'm a dentist, but I'm also a military member, so we're still doing other trainings and all that stuff as well.
I thought you said you didn't have much interaction with enlisted, so that's why I was questioning.
No, I mean the fraternizing part of it, right? Where they like you don't go out on weekends and hang out with like that's not allowed, right? You're not supposed to do that. But I had the opportunity to interact with them
through basketball,
through sports and things like that, a lot more than others got to, right? And they saw me as a friend because I did that, and I would take advantage of those opportunities to sit down and talk about their life and be more of a mentor to them, which I absolutely loved, especially since many of them came from very different lives than I did.
Right.
And those aren't opportunities that others got to have because they weren't as involved in other things. But because I played basketball for the bases and stuff, I'd get to do that, and I valued that a lot.
Right. Yeah. See, it's a little different in the Air Force. At least it was in the ICBM career field. Like the lieutenants would go out to the field with us, and they would actually work beside us.
Yeah,
we'd put them to work. Instead of just standing around.
Yeah.
But in the weekends, it'd be very common to see them out drinking with airmen and stuff like that.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah. Now it was a gray area, but I never heard of any lieutenant getting.
No, we all know about the Air Force, though, right? I mean, we got Navy and Air Force here at the same table. We can, and if we had Army here, we could go the rounds. But no, I think some of those things are a little. So it was
it was definitely a little bit more relaxed.
Yeah. And I don't know how crazy strict it was, but I also had my family and kids and stuff, and so on weekends I wasn't hanging out with anybody but my family, right? So, but I do know that wasn't common for, they would make an issue. They would make a point to say, watch the fraternization, right? That wasn't supposed to, because it's hard to fraternize on the weekend and then come back and be their boss, right?
Right.
So they got to maintain that hierarchy or nothing works, right?
Right. Yep. And I think there's, I wonder if they kind of press that more because you guys were overseas, because you are kind of building this community. You're kind of away from all of your family and friends like that you would have here, right?
Yeah, potentially, yeah.
And so maybe, I know in like a deployed state, they don't really... Did you deploy? Like, were you on a ship at all?
I never did.
Yeah, I wondered.
I never did. I was always...
Because your career field wouldn't necessarily need to be,
No,
right?
No, the career... Absolutely, yeah. They do a lot. I just somehow didn't. When I was in Okinawa, so when we got there, a whole bunch of new lieutenants went there because Okinawa has a ton of Navy and Marines, and we were Greenside. We were attached. So the Navy are the Marines' medical support. So so Marines don't have their own medical support, right? So that the Navy, the medical corps in the Navy is the Marines' medical support. So so we were Greenside. I wore Marine fatigues and everything. So I was Marine essentially.
Interesting.
Where were we going with that? I just lost my train of thought. What did you say that
about being over deploying or being on a boat?
Yeah, so there were a lot of deployments, and there were 25 of us or so there, maybe 20 of us there, that were all pretty new, and they essentially had this whiteboard at headquarters of everybody's name, and when a deployment would come through, they would just go down this board and next. Huh. And I had done a lot of humanitarian work before my time in the Navy. When I was in dental school, I went to the Dominican Republic a whole bunch of times and led some humanitarian groups, and that was super fun.
That's so
and so I enjoyed that, and I felt like I had kind of a good workflow, and I could make that happen. And I didn't have the opportunity to do that much in the Navy because I was there. So I at one point I reached out to the person in charge of assigning those deployments when they came through, because I remember one came through and it was in my first year. In my first year, I was doing kind of a residency program. And so we weren't allowed to be deployed, but I knew once that first year was up, I could be deployed. So I reached out and I said, hey, and I remember a service-oriented short deployment had come through, but I wasn't eligible. And I reached out and said, hey, if one of these ever comes back through, let me know. I'd love to do that, and I've got experience doing these humanitarian projects. So sure enough, like it was like the first week after my first year, he sends me this message. He's like, I'm about to put this out. Would you want to do it? And I'm like, I'm in. So it was 30 days to Cambodia.
Okay.
And we went and worked in this like kind of Muslim convent. Okay. Super poor. They'd all line up with a popsicle stick, and we would just take one at a time, and they get to pick one part of their mouth that was hurting the worst, and we would just do what we could to help them, right? And they've got, it could be their whole mouth, but you just get to choose one thing at a time where the pain's the worst.
Right.
We'd turn off all the lights half the time and use headlamps because, the girls couldn't show their faces, but we had to get to their faces. And it was a really cool experience. Wild, and the poverty there was like unlike anything I'd ever seen before.
Right.
Dominican Republic, Mexico, anywhere else. It was so sad. But I did that for 30 days, and that took me off that list for deployment. And so I never deployed while I was there, where other people were going for 9 months. It's 9 months plus pre and post deployment, right? Which was a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
So I never did. And then when I went to Spain, I was one of one, and I was kind of critical.
Right.
I was critical there, so they never took me away. So I somehow did never deploy. I think deployment would be a fun adventure if you're not leaving your family and your kids and all that, right? It would be be bittersweet in that way. So I was grateful I didn't, but at the same time, it would have been cool, but that would have been hard. So I felt very fortunate. People always ask me about my military experience. I'm like, it was amazing, and they're like, great, I'm going to tell my kid to do it. I'm like, there's a lot to consider here.
Yeah.
Maybe you still do, but their experience may not be Japan and Spain and no deployment, right?
Yep.
Right.
I lucked out for sure, and I don't take that for granted. I recognize that.
So do you feel like your deployment, I don't know why I did air quotes, to Cambodia, do you feel like that was like your one of your more rewarding experiences in the military? Oh, for sure. Yeah, that's one of my most memorable things. They did this like kind of highlight piece on our group and I guess on me, because there was only 2 officers there, me and a medical doctor, and we had some crazy things that happened. We had some people, some Marines fall from a 3-story balcony, and they ended up rushing them away, and they both nearly died, and one ended up being a vegetable. I mean, just wild stuff. I remember them running in and being like, "Doc, come out!" And we ran down there, and they had fallen, floors, and they were laying in this big, ugly. I mean, it's a huge, super traumatic scene. We're breaking beds apart, tearing sheets, and splinting on their bodies together. It was wild. That is wild. Super memorable experiences, right? And I learned a lot. And that was just on that one deployment. But yeah, I was super passionate about humanitarian work at the time. I still love it. I don't get to do it as often anymore. I mean, I just need to make it more of a priority, but life gets in the way sometimes. But I did it for so long, and then to be able to do that as part of the military was really cool, and as part of the Marines, right? Marines are amazing people, and I mean, I'll say I don't know how many Marines will ever listen to this, but my hat goes off to the Marines. I had always heard how they would passionately support and protect, especially their medical people, right? Because if you're going to the sandbox, right? Mm-hmm. If you don't have, without your medical support, you're in trouble, right? Right. And we had some really cool experiences there. We were all walking down the street, and none of us were allowed to have any kind of weapons or anything, right? We were wearing civilian clothing, so as not to stand out. But we were all walking together, and at one point, these 4 Marines surround me and the other officer. Like I said, there were 2 officers, but situationally we were the highest ranking, but there was a gunny that was kind of in charge of the whole thing, and they surrounded us, and I'm like, what's going on? And they're like, that guy over there is tracking us. Oh. And it ended up being nothing, but these guys were ready to step in front of this guy that is a potential threat. Oh. And I don't even know these kids, right? They're 18 years old, right? And they were, and I remember when that happened, and a bunch of things like that happened during our time there, that just gave me just an enormous amount of respect for the Marines and how dedicated they are to what they do. And they truly are the ones that run towards the firefights, right? Like they're running towards the noise and the gunshots, and we're all running or shooting from boats or from the sky, right? I mean, they really are amazing. Yeah. And they would die for their job, right? So so the whole experience was super rewarding, and the poverty there was unreal, and to be able to just serve the people, you wish you could do more, but you just do what you can. But, Interesting. Yeah, that's so neat. I mean, that's wild experiences. Yeah. That's really cool. So I know I have some questions here, but I am like, so do you have any, I feel like we've asked this, I think you've asked this to the last couple of people that we've had on about like maybe what was like a negative experience, but after you just gave us that whole spiel, I'm like, I don't know.
There's certainly things that were hard, right? You're away from home. Right. Even there are people that went to Okinawa and hated it just because they get island fever, right? Right. And that depends also on your rank and what things you're allowed to do, right? We as officers,
I think every base has that. Someone's always bound to not enjoy their tour there.
And I don't pretend like I didn't have it good, right? As officers, you're treated really well, right? You can walk into somewhere and there's a line of 40 people and they're like, sir, can we help you? And you're like, sorry guys. Hey,
but yeah, I'm in a hurry.
but actually, can you sign this? I know they all been waiting for an hour, and in Okinawa, they would salute your car. Right. And like you felt like a big deal. And I remember standing in the parking lot. One of my first days, I was standing there in the parking lot of the dental clinic talking to my wife, and I still didn't even know what I was doing. Right, you go from school and there with virtually no training. I did some officer training like after my first year at dental school.
Yeah.
Right? But we're standing there and we're talking. This kid just walks. He's walking past us. I don't even think of it. He just comes up to me and goes, "Sir!" And I was like,
salutes you.
I was like, God, left hand, right hand. I'm like, carry on. Like, is that what they say? Like, I didn't even know what I was doing, and so it took some time to get used to that. But the life was good while you're there, just because you're an officer and they give you certain privileges. But you're still away from home, right? You're still really far from home. You still have to deal with all the things you deal with on a daily basis as far as family, and you still got to go to the grocery store. And so it's not just an extended vacation. Vacations are super fun, but we also would rather live where we live, right? That's why we go. That's why we visit places rather than live there, right? And when if you go and try to live there, you realize that it's still just life in another place,
right?
And so, but that's hardly difficult either, right? I mean, it's not. I can't say that I had any super negative experiences. Other than just the stresses of military life, there are some, right?
Yeah.
It's a different life for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But all in all, it was, I would say it's 99% positive.
Yeah, that's good. I don't think that there are a lot of people that can come out of their military experience. I mean, they probably do if they think about like all the positives, right? But I think there are a lot of people that hone in on the negative, and I think we
kind of clouds their.
You mentioned that earlier, and I can't remember if we were on air yet. Or not, but mentioning the saying that you brought up about kind of focusing on
what you focus on grows.
Yeah. And I love that. Yeah, I need to write that down. Actually, I have like a couple of things over there.
I don't know who's going to listen to this that knows me well, but I say that a lot. That's kind of one of my mantras. I just find that it helps me because I just get more of wherever I seem to focus my energies, right? And and I need to do better with it, but I just try to do that at least. But
we should make a list of all the good little quotes and stuff and sayings that we've captured so far.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, those are good things to remember. I just feel like, I don't know. I always say like walk the talk. I don't know what's your...
Mine is pick up heavy things and carry them.
Oh, yeah. You have mentioned that before.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, those are all good, guys. Look at us.
And as far as... I would say that the military, like people ask me all the time if they should have their kid go in the military, things like that. And I think it's a really positive experience as long as it's part of a plan, right? Too often people go there because they don't have a plan.
Right.
I have nothing else to do, so I'm going to join the military.
That was me.
Yeah. Right. And it is a lot of people, and it's a safe bet, right? It's a job, it's a career, it's something to do with your time in your life, but it's most productive if it's a stepping stone to something later, right?
Right.
I saw a lot of people that went into the military and took advantage of all the opportunities that it offered, right? Their GI Bill, I remember one kid specifically that he was just kind of this goof off kind of kid. He was funny. He was
there he goes.
He was this funny, obnoxious kid in the clinic, and we all kind of gave him a hard time, but he was cool. He just kind of didn't take anything real serious. And I remember towards the end of my time there, I realized that the whole time he'd been prepping for law school.
Oh,
and
wow.
He was graduating, and he had applied to law school and was on his way. And I was like,
"You're all that guy,
dude." Well, I mean, it was just, but it was all part of a plan. So he didn't take it as seriously because he had other things that were bigger going on, right? And so I think it can be very beneficial and if it's part of a plan, it's a great option.
Yeah.
But I also saw people go in and then you're in TAPS class at the end where you're going to get out.
Yeah.
And they get everybody there and they're like, all right, so who knows what they're going to do after? And I'm like the only one that raises my hand. I'm like, I'm not, and you got all these people getting out and they still don't have a plan.
Right.
And so all it did was fill time, right? And that's unfortunate because it's a good jumping off point for life if you utilize it properly.
Yeah. And I think you can utilize it that way and then you stay in because you're getting the benefits, you're seeing it, you're feeling rewarded because you do have that level of patriotism like you mentioned before, like you feel like you're serving your country, you're doing all the right things. Plus, you know, if you stay the 20, like you did, Rob, you retired. I know my mom did that, and then but I know like towards the end, my mom was going to school for a degree, so she had something to fall back on when she was done, because the fact of the matter is, like, well, I've given my whole life to this, my adult life anyways, right? Like I don't know what I'm gonna do. What is he doing? This dog
being crazy.
Get him neutered and he gets like more energy somehow. I don't understand. Yeah, sorry. But so I do agree. I think if you utilize, okay, relax. Sorry. I think there's a bunch of different routes that you can take, but I think if you're taking advantage of the opportunities you're given, then that's where it's going to really help you, regardless of whether you do 4, 6, 8, 20 years, right?
When a military career is a great career too, and that could be what that step is, right? I mean, and you don't always know that when you go in, but I considered it wouldn't have been a bad option.
Right.
I could see all the benefits of it.
Right. And, Navy, I feel like it's different because you knew that you were never going to be stationed in Utah. What naval bases you were, right?
Yeah, worst case scenario, you're on a beach. Right. You're never. You're always on a beach.
Well, dang it, Naples, Italy, Hawaii.
It's never that bad location wise. But I've always said that I think the military has saved a lot of lives. Right. There's a lot of people that had no other good alternatives or no other option or direction, and they get in there, and you have no choice but to fall in line and shape up. And then once you do, and you lean into what it's all about, you can really stand out. And I hate to say this, but there's enough screw offs in the military that if you just go in there with the intention of just doing a good job, you're going to stand out like a sore thumb.
Right.
Like you don't have to try to be noticed, or you just go do a good job.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember like if you were raised to just, do what you're told and do your best, right, at whatever you do, that seems to be the exception, right? Like I remember just going, they're like, hey, we need to have this report by this day. I'm like, all right. So I write on my calendar, make sure you turn it, and I turn in, and they're like, I can't believe you always have things in on time. Like, you mean everybody else doesn't? Like, that's just what you know. Yeah. But enough people don't do it that makes you look great. And that's really all I did, and I think it helped me. But
I realized that actually recently. I'm like, I think you complimenting me? I just did my job.
I just did what I was supposed to. Like, you're outstanding. You're like, no, I was just standing.
Yeah.
I think the military has a lot to offer a lot of people.
Yeah.
And for some people, they're the intensity of their personality and things like that would only work in a place like the military.
That's true.
That is very true.
And probably 20 years ago, that intensity is not happening for you now. I don't know. There's a lot of softies in the military now.
Depending on your career field, of course.
Right? For sure, But I saw some people that I'm like, this guy would never have survived anywhere else, but here he thrives because that's his personality, and they found a place where he can let that go, and he's a good leader because of it, but you can't lead that way in the public sector, right? So
dog. So sorry.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Usually he doesn't do this whole Zoomies thing while we're on while we're like midway through. I did want to go back to your education. So, what was your undergrad in? Like when you're going into dental, did you know you were going to want to be a dentist when you did your undergrad?
So my undergrad, I majored in Spanish, but then you have to do all your pre-dental work. So it's essentially a medical biology degree. So you end up being like 1 credit short of a medical biology degree. So it's a whole bunch of sciences. You're taking all your chemistry and biologies and anatomy, and you just a whole bunch of just stuff to get you ready for dental school. And then and then you when you apply, they separate your grades out, right? You've got your science-based GPA, and then you've got other GPAs, and they also look at what it's combined, right? So I had this Spanish GPA, which I did that because I loved it and it was fun, and it kind of took a load off, so I essentially double majored, and that was straight A's because I loved it, and that got averaged into my other GPA, which helped it. But then they also looked at that, and it was good enough, and it wasn't as good, but it was good. And then you take the DAT in my case, it's just like the MCAT or whatever. It's just the test, the entrance test. So and then if you do well enough on that, you can apply. Okay. So my degree was Spanish, along with all my my dental prerequisites.
Oh, okay. But you had 1 class shy of.
Yeah, you end up being like one, but you don't care. Like you're going to
because you're going to dental school.
Yeah,
anyways,
your whole goal is just to get dental school.
Like
so there were a couple students when we were in dental school that found a way to do get that 1 class like remotely or something just so they could have that. But and you don't. I mean, you have no idea what your dentist studied, right? Like, no one cares that you have.
I actually ask my dentist every time.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Can I see your grades? Yeah, of course.
Let's see your grades. What school did you go to? What was your class ranking?
Like, after the work's done, I'm like, wait a second, maybe I should have done.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So that was. And I don't know how. I'm not really sure how I fell into dentistry. People always ask me that, and it's not like I just love teeth. I mean, I don't know how I got into it, but I think
just have a jar of teeth at everywhere.
Since I was a kid, I'm like teeth.
Yeah.
I think it was mostly
still
just
have all your kids' teeth, don't you?
Yeah. They don't know. They still think it was a tooth fairy.
They're about to find out.
Yeah. I think I just really wanted to have something to latch onto. I do remember in high school though, you'd take those tests that would kind of tell you, you answer all those questions. It's like you're likely to be this. Every time I did it, and even when I'd go back and do it and try to answer those differently, because I'm like, I'm gonna botch
it. Yeah.
It would always, dentistry always came up, and I don't know why. And I never remember. I don't remember ever being super focused on or looking at myself as being a dentist someday. Right. That was my thing. I never actually thought I could be a dentist. I wasn't one of those kids. I mean, I did well in high school, but not crazy well, and I didn't think of myself as someone that could be doing that. So, I think I just kind of fell into it, and I think my personality is such that I need to have something that I'm latched onto. So I think I just started saying that. Yeah. I just started signing up for classes so I could feel like I was moving towards something. Yeah. And then all of a sudden I got closer to it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, am I really doing this? Right. And then actually once I got to the end of or close to where I would be taking the test and applying stuff, I got cold feet. I actually had taken the DAT, and then I had really stopped and thought about it for the first time. Like, I remember that was when I really, really thought about it, and I was like, what am I doing? And I actually took a year and didn't do anything. Oh, wow. Because I got scared. I wasn't sure if I could do it. Yeah. I wasn't sure if I would, it's kind of imposter syndrome, right? I was like, what am I doing? Yeah. I'm going to get there, and they're walking like, this is all wrong. We made a mistake. Like, this is, you shouldn't be here. So I actually looked at taking the LSAT for law school, started thinking stuff like that, because I always enjoyed, writing and debating. And so then I was like, oh, maybe that's what I need to do. And then I had a conversation with him. I remember my mother, and I was 26 when I was getting ready to go to dental school, and I'm like, I'll be 30 by the time I graduate. That's forever. And I got friends that are moving up the corporate ladders. And right. I was like, that's crazy. And I remember her saying to me, she's like, you're going to be 30 either way. And I was like, oh, touche. Like, yeah, good point. She's like, you can be what you want at 30, or you can still be trying to figure it out. And I'm like, gosh, time's gonna go by, and at least that's a direction. And so I feel like I just kind of fell into it, even though you can't just fall into it because it does take a lot. But I just always wanted to have a direction, so that was the one I picked, and just never got away from it. So yeah.
Well, that's neat.
Yeah, I'm still looking for my direction.
I know. I'm curious about this test that you mentioned that you took in high school that kind of led you to think career field. I don't remember taking a test like that.
You go to like the career center or whatever, and,
yeah,
and they're like, and they just ask you these random questions about stuff. And it's not like
I feel like I could run a career center. Why don't I know about a career? I do not remember doing this.
It would ask you random questions, and I don't know if they weren't like really subject based. They were just like, they'd be random, and I don't know. It's like probably some kind of psychoanalysis. I don't know what it really is. And then it spits out some results, and like, you would probably be apt for this field because you like people, right? Like, it's not based on like your ability to do science. It's like, you're personable, or you enjoy.
It's like Myers-Briggs test, like 1.0. It was like the original version of Myers-Briggs or something we don't even know, right? Because I think like those personality tests tell you a lot of like what kind of career field. And mine always go towards HR. So I feel like I realized I wanted to do HR while I was in high school because my mom's friend, like my mom worked, when she got out of the military, she worked for L3 Communications, and she was like their OSHA person, like their safety person. And she worked really closely with the HR woman. And she just started telling me like about her job. I think I did like a career day or something, and went to school or went to work with her one day. And then she just told me everything. I was like, I want to do this. I think I like this. I don't, and then all of a sudden it was just what it is. So I'm going to go back and do one of these tests, see what I could do.
If they let you into the high school,
I'm done. Wow.
They're like, who is this?
I'm sure you can find it online or something.
Yeah. And they may not even use it. I don't even know that it's that telling, but
yeah,
I just remember that always being the case. And but it probably said 10 other things too.
You just overlooked those because you were obsessed with teeth.
Yeah, right. Yeah, couldn't get enough.
I know mine. It said something to do with artistry,
which is what you wanted to do.
It's but like you said, I got cold feet.
Yeah. But you did it with Casual Dinkers.
Mm-hmm.
So look at you.
Yeah,
I like it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Did you know he owns Casual Dinkers?
I noticed you were wearing a lot of Casual Dinker stuff.
Well, I got to wear my brand. So
yeah, and I didn't know. So and then he designs all of the.
I don't know a ton about it.
Yeah, it's a clothing brand.
It's an apparel.
I'll let you tell your story.
Yeah, it's just an apparel brand. So I started playing pickleball in 2022, end of that, and I started looking at T-shirts because I wanted to see just what was out there, with no intention of actually starting a T-shirt company for pickleball. I've already had aspirations of starting my own T-shirt company, just my own designs and stuff. And the stuff I was seeing online was just dumb, like stick figures saying like "stay out of the kitchen" and all that stuff. I was like, well, there's a lot of drinking innuendos or sexual innuendos or just comedy that I wasn't seeing. I was like, I could come up with some really cool stuff. And so I was like, screw it, I'm going to start my own T-shirt company. I just jumped in and went head first into it.
I need to look more into it then.
Yeah.
I need to get some.
Thanks.
He's got a couple of different lines, like you just said. So he did like a veterans one. So he's got one for all the different services. So you'll have to get a Navy one.
Any of them have teeth on them?
I bet he could come up with one for you.
It won't be a bestseller, I promise. I might be the only one that buys it. Yeah. And then I won't wear it in public.
Just around your teeth, though.
Yeah. Just at the office.
So as of right now, I have the largest collection or selection of apparel in the pickleball world.
So cool.
I got to branch out. I just buy my stuff.
Well, apparel, it's niche. Pickleball's a niche already, and it's a flooded market. Everyone just likes their Selkirk and Yola stuff.
Yeah.
So
I go like the Nike store and buy it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was like, I like my Lululemon.
Yeah.
No, but I like that. It's cool.
It's fun.
I'm definitely gonna look into it.
It's a fun hobby.
Yeah.
And then this being a second hobby.
Yeah. So what hobbies do you have then outside of, so we know you play pickleball, so we'll get into that, but I'm curious you said.
So I think pickleball is definitely my biggest hobby right now because, between work and, the rest of life, and there's only room for so many hobbies. But before pickleball, so growing up, I just played tons of sports. My parents were great examples of just being super active. My dad was a marathon runner. My mom was a tennis pro. I didn't really play a lot of tennis growing up, but they were always super active, and they're the go jogging in the morning, and just they made time for that in their lives, and so I valued that from an early age. I'd run some races with my dad, but mostly I would just play a ton of basketball. That was my passion. I think I did about every sport I did a ton of. I skateboarded for a long time. I was way into rollerblading for a long time, and I just did every sport I could get my hands on. I just loved if it was running and jumping and moving, I was doing it. But basketball was really my passion growing up. Then I got into mountain biking as a teenager, and then continued to mountain bike a ton up until dental school. Once I was in dental school, my wife was like, "You're not mountain biking because if you hurt your hands or whatever, then you're in trouble." I started right after dental school. I started road riding a ton. And just I raced my road bike for quite a few years when I was overseas in Japan and Spain. Did a ton of road riding. That was kind of my passion there, along with basketball. Still, I played. And then when I got back, I continued to road ride some, but then got back to the mountains. And I had some buddies that that were already riding a ton. They talked me into getting back on the mountain, and that's where I always felt like I thrived in just kind of the endurance arena there. The kind of mountain biking I would do wasn't as much as like the jumping and downhill crazy stuff that I used to do. It was more cross country, so just sufferfest, like 10 hours, 100 miles, single track trail, climbing 12,000 feet. So it was just a ton of training on the bike, and that's what I did from all the way up until I started playing pickleball, and along with some triathlon stuff, and just got into that for a while. Which was fun, but it's just a lot of suffering, right? And so the reward from that is different than the reward you get in pickleball. The reward from that is like, I just did something that really hard that not a lot of people do, and you get that high from it. But it was a lot of pain and blood, sweat, and tears. But I loved it. Got me to the mountains, and that continues to be kind of my safe place. And then when COVID hit, a lot of my races got canceled. So. So I was like, and I was getting kind of burned out from all the training. So I was in the saddle probably 20 plus hours a week, just riding my mountain bike, just climbing, right? And so I started playing a little bit of pickleball, and I had for a couple winters before COVID hit, maybe two winters before that, I would go to like the Farmington gym and play for like 2 months when I couldn't get on the trails, and just kind of go mess around there. So I since I hadn't seen a lot of your guys' podcasts, I was watching one, and it was the one with Mike Kelly and Tanner. So and I'm calling Mike out right now because
I love it.
I'm calling him out because he did not mention me in any of his pickleball history there. And Mike and I kind of came up together in it. He started a little earlier than me, but he was only playing off and on as well. And during those winter months, he would go to the Farmington gym, and that's where we met. And we would go and we'd play sometimes there, and we became fast friends. And then when COVID hit, we started playing more, and we were. Mike and I are really good friends. He's one of my closest friends, and I mean he's way younger than me, but we became very good friends and started playing a whole bunch. And when his parents built the Kelly courts, I helped paint those courts. We were always there for a while. We were there just really so excited about those coming around. And he and I were just starting to play a lot. And then that first winter that they had those courts, we had a few days a week where we cut out time for us, and we would just invite the best players we could get to come play with us, just to work us over until we would improve. And so we, Mike and I have played more tournaments together than we have with anybody else.
Oh, really?
Wow.
And he didn't even mention
He didn't even
what
mention,
a jerk!
I saw the one episode I watched. I'm like, dude, can you ask about like him starting pickleball? I'm like, dude, Mike, that was us. And we continued to do that for a few years. We came in at playing 4-0 tournaments, and then we worked our way up to winning our first 5-0 tournaments. It was just it was fun. And we played a ton together, and everybody knew us as like it was an assumption we were always playing together. And then I ended up having shoulder surgery, and then he had his knees and stuff, and so we kind of didn't get to do stuff for a while. And then he's in a different phase of life than me. He's got young kids, but I got to know him and his family, all the Kellys, Gloria, his sister Christy, and her husband Travis. Travis and I went on missions together.
Oh, you did?
Yep. And
wow.
So they're an awesome family, and they were some of my first and closest friends in pickleball. But so
I love all of them.
Yeah, and like I said, we're in different phases of life right now. So he's busy with kids and stuff, and I'm kind of out of that phase a little bit. But yeah, still one of my really good friends, but yeah, so those are my hobbies and kind of just anything that will let me move. Yeah.
Interesting. That's fun. I love that. I love that you were able to tie that in.
Yeah, I thought that. I'm like, I'm calling him out. I can't believe he didn't mention my name in it.
I love that. So you've been playing for a while then. 7 years?
No. Well, yeah, a little over 5 years. Okay. So yeah, maybe going on 6. Yeah, somewhere around there. So,
and then you're just already at 5-0.
I think 2020, 21 is that winter. I think is when we really started.
Okay,
gotcha.
That's when we really dove in.
All right, I misunderstood.
And then we did a couple years of just playing tons of tournaments and stuff together and playing the other stuff. Yeah.
So I think I am embarrassed about this because there was an episode where we talked about tournaments, and I pulled up how many exactly. I have like a notebook, and I actually haven't even like added to it, which would be the first time in like the last few months. But like I keep track of all mine. But how many tournaments would you say you've done?
I wouldn't even know where to start, but I don't do as many as a lot of people do. And I haven't been doing them like this summer. I haven't done that many. I mean, I've done I don't know. I do have a bunch of my medals and stuff hanging like behind my clothes or in a bag. I can't remember where they're at now, if I've hung them up or not, but I used to have just a hook. They would just all hang on in a pile, but there's probably, there's over 100 of them there.
Right. Oh, wow. So you're probably 200, 300 tournaments. Yeah.
No, probably not that many.
Really? I mean, if you have 100 medals, so you've just medaled in all of them. Got it. No. I understand.
Well,
got it. Well, so your ratio is a little different than mine.
Half of them are probably participation medals.
Okay,
so.
Whatever.
No, but
you're being humble.
No, it's not. No, no, but yeah, I don't know how many I've done, but I mean, I have a lot of those there. So if that's any gauge.
And then I think I recently saw you did a team tournament with your son and Helen Monson and Emma.
Yeah. So actually Helen was one of the first people I played with early on.
I love
we should
her.
do like Tammy's mixer when she do her early morning missions. That was when I was first starting to play more seriously, and Helen and I would do that a bunch. And we did some random tournaments, and she was always super fun. Helen's awesome. And then my oldest son, Helen would get him and her daughter Emma connected and get them playing in tournaments together.
Your oldest son?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's 25 and Emma's like 14 now, I think.
Yeah.
13, 14. Yeah, she's young, but he was just starting to play, and so he would play at her level with her, and it was good. It was a perfect experience for both of them. And so they did that a few times, and Helen and I hadn't played anything for a really long time, but this team one came up and she's like, hey, let's all do it together, and we did that and we won. It was
fun.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
Yeah, it was really cool.
I love that. So is that your only son that plays?
Yeah, pretty much. I have my 20-year-old. He could play. He was a soccer kid. That was kind of his life. And he's just, some of those kids, like, they go out and you're like, you could be so good.
Yeah.
Like he's decent already, and I think he'll probably play some in the future. But Caden, my oldest, plays the most right now.
Yeah, I did not know he was 25.
Have you seen Caden?
Yeah.
Oh, so he's tall. Yeah, tall kid. He's like 6'4". Didn't get that from me.
Yeah, I feel like I've played in a tournament with George against Emma and him, but maybe not.
Maybe so.
Yeah. Okay,
maybe,
at the Pickler.
Yeah.
But I thought he was younger, so he just looks young.
Yeah, he's 25.
Or maybe I just don't know how to tell the age. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. And I saw you guys at the tournament.
Okay. Then that would be it then.
Yeah. That's so fun. Yeah. How many tournaments have you two done together? Do you guys?
We've never done a tournament other than that one with Helen, and we've done. I'll go do like the 4 or 5 money ball with him sometimes.
Oh, okay.
That's been really fun. We haven't done it in a while.
Yeah.
He's down at UVU.
Okay.
Dating a girl. She's awesome. Lauren, if you're watching, she's so cool. She knows that we absolutely love her, and we'll see where that goes. Hopefully in all the right directions. She knows we want that. But they play together.
Oh, I was just gonna ask if she plays pickleball.
She's played as they've been dating and stuff, and she's just a really good athlete.
Okay.
And they're both like D1 size baby parent kind of people, right? Like they're both like she's like 6 foot, he's 6'4", and both athletic. So we'll see how that goes. But
I wonder what that's like.
Yeah, right.
Being tall? I don't know.
Being tall, being athletic.
I'll never know. He didn't get that from me. But they play together, and he continues to play some. But he's big into basketball as well. And I'm like, hey man, like enjoy that while you can. Because there comes a time where you can't do that as much in pickleball. You can still some of that movement is mitigated by the court and the rules and stuff. So but he's just a good athlete. Yeah,
that's so neat. I think it's cool. I think we've had several people on the podcast that play with their kids. Like Tim has played with Kai and Brad, and but also I forgot you mentioned twin boys.
Yes,
and I think Carson and Tanea have twins. They talked about because I was like somebody else that we had on the podcast because I have like. How you are with teeth is how I am with your obsession with teeth. I'm just kidding. I'm just never going to let you live that down. I just always had this weird obsession with twins, like the idea of twins. I used to Google, like, how do you make sure you have twins when you're trying to have a baby? Like, I wanted twins so bad. Like, I wanted to be a twin. I wanted twins so bad.
You wanted to be a twin?
I wanted to be a twin.
How does that work?
I don't know.
After the fact?
My sister and I
make this happen?
Yeah, we get asked a lot if we're twins. I think our mannerisms are a lot the same. And like the older she's gotten and the thinner I've gotten, I think we just kind of look and seem more and more alike. But I'm always like, yeah, I'm the same age as her. You're right. We're twins. I also loved, and I know she's never going to watch this, but I also loved once we went to dinner and somebody's like, oh, you guys are sisters? And I'm like, yeah. Who's older? And I was like, her. She's not. But the person believed us and she was not. My sister was not happy. But yeah, I think it's so neat. So do twins run in yours or your wife's family?
So ironically, on my wife's side, we've got twins. Her brother has twins, but so ours are fraternal, so not identical both ways, but not identical. Her brother has twins, but they were in vitro twins. And then another brother has twins, and they're identical. So ours are the only one that are actually genetically likely to twins. All the other ones. So yes, there's a bunch of them, but not for any good reason.
Not for any reasons that link them. It's so interesting.
Yeah. I think she has like a grandma or a great grandma that has a twin sister or something like that.
Oh, okay. I have cousins that are technically in vitro twins, but they were born 4 years apart because they saved the egg. So they saved or freeze the eggs and then so technically like they were made in the same dish. So technically they're twins. I guess.
They shared a dish.
Yeah.
At some point.
All right. So with pickleball, like what's kept you, I mean, because you've talked about a lot about all these other sports that you've been involved in, like mountain biking. And so in my head, I feel like I already know the answer to this, but I'm curious like what your answer would be. Like what's kind of kept you coming to pickleball instead of like going to these other sports?
So, I mean, originally it was me just... So I quit playing basketball because I started getting injured, right? Because in your mind you think you're 30 and you're not. And we had a group that would play regularly still and really competitive. Everybody were good ball players and it was super competitive. And I'd get out there and I'd get injured and I'd come back and I'm like, I'm done. And then I'd get injured again. So I was like,
it's the same in pickleball, actually.
Yeah.
I was like, I got to stop or I'm not going to be able to do anything. And at the time I was doing some triathlons and stuff. And I'm like, I'm not going to be able to run because my ankles were getting killed. And I was like, I got to stop. So I finally hung them up, which was hard because it's what I'd done my whole life. And I lived for that like competition. And then I was doing a bunch of mountain biking and stuff, and the cycling is the competition is there, but you're competing with the mountain and your clock, right? And maybe the person's wheel in front of you that you've been staring at for literally 6 or 8 hours, right? But I missed like the mano a mano kind of competition, and so pickleball definitely fed that side of me. And I'm uber competitive, like super competitive, and anybody that knows me would surely agree. I am super competitive. And so there aren't very many sports at this point in your life that you can jump into and improve on, even though you're getting older.
Yeah.
Right. I can't think of very many others. Right. I mean, unless I decide to start swimming because I'm a horrible swimmer, I could probably get better. But I'm not going to become a better basketball player. I'm probably not going to get a lot of new PRs on my bike. Right.
Right.
I was already pushing myself about as hard as I could. And pickleball was new. The barrier of entry to pickleball is low. You can start and play and get into it quick, and then decide how serious you want to take it.
Right.
So it provided that for me, and then and so there's the health benefit, the activity and endorphins, all that kind of stuff. But the thing that really separates it, and while I had great friends and stuff, right, and we all know that where this is going, I had great friends in that I rode with and trained with and stuff. But you're just trying to breathe on a bike, right? Mm-hmm. Let alone like have a conversation about life,
right?
But we'd be hard pressed to find any sport in this world, and we all know this, that provides the social benefits that pickleball does. Mm-hmm. And I know I'm preaching to the choir, but I would start anecdotally. My parents were the first people that I knew that even played pickleball. They were playing pickleball before I'd ever even heard what it was.
Okay.
Like when we were in Spain, I remember them playing. They were talking about this pickleball thing, and I'm like, what?
I wondered when you said your mom was a tennis pro if she played, so I did want to circle back to that.
So, So they got into pickleball, and I remember them getting pictures of this thing. And I'm like, what is this pickleball? Stupid name, wiffle ball. Everything about it sounds stupid. We can all agree that we're addicted to something that sounds ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
But and then when I got back, they were still they were playing a bunch, and I started hearing about it a little bit. But my parents are in their middle to late 70s. My father has leukemia, right? Mm-hmm. He was diagnosed 5.5 years ago. They told him he would have 1 to 3 years to live. He's 5.5 years in, and he plays pickleball 3 to 5 times a week and golfs a couple times a week.
Wow,
killing it, right? And while he's always been a healthy person, he knows, and even his doctors have attributed a lot of his success physically, or his ability to combat the leukemia, is because he's so active, and one, because he's active, and there's a sport that he can actually be active in, right? How many sports can a 7 to 8 year old man go and play, right? There's just not that many things. You can golf, but is that really a sport? Just kidding. But I mean, it doesn't have all the same benefits, right?
Correct.
And so they play pickleball regularly, and they have all these years, and they have the most incredible group of friends that they play with multiple times a week. They go to breakfast with them. They hang out other times. Mm-hmm. They are really close friends. They've got T-shirts together, right, about funny things that have happened. And the age range is actually pretty big there. It's not just a bunch of late 7-year-olds. They've got this age range of people, and the ability to interact with people in that way. The studies that show the benefits to your mental acuity as you have to be out there and think and strategize and problem solve essentially on the court in real time, aside from the actual just physical movement, right? So, but the social aspect of it for them, I think, has saved his life in so many ways, because just like when people retire, sometimes you see they retire and then they just go downhill.
Yep.
He's got he retired, and he's now spending a ton of time socializing with people, virtually every single day, going and just laughing, right, which is the best medicine. And feeling loved. When everybody found out he had cancer, he was the mayor at the time in Cottonwood Heights, and when they found out he had leukemia, the community rallied around him in a crazy way, and a big part of those who rallied around him it stemmed from his pickleball family, right? Wow. And I'll say that we call it a pickleball family,
right?
And most of us do, right? Like you guys have your group, right? And even in our groups, we got these groups. I've probably got 200 names in my phone.
Yeah.
And then they say their name, and then it says pickleball, right?
Yep.
And
I feel like a lot of people have said that on this podcast.
And we respond to each other as, "Hey, pickleball family,"
right.
or "fam." Like we truly look at each other like a family. And I know that this family of theirs in Cottonwood Heights, I mean, they had billboards. There's some courts out there named after him in Cottonwood Heights. Wow. He said it was like being alive for his own funeral, but the because he didn't actually pass away, like everybody was so afraid it was going to happen quick, and here he is still. But it was this outpouring of love, and that came from people that were all brought together by this stupid wiffle ball sport. Yeah. Right? Go for full circle with that, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And so that I think that demonstrates the power of this sport, right? It's not just hitting a ball around, right? It's the interaction, and that's what keeps bringing us back. I mean, none of us, I don't think, have ever seen anything so addicting, right? Like it's crazy.
Yeah, it sucks you in.
Yeah, it sucks you in, and you want to get better at the sport, but more importantly, you don't want to miss out on you. It would be painful to not be a part of these families, right? Mm-hmm. And I know you guys have had the same experiences. I've had so many, I mean, countless times where I've stayed after pickleball, right, and sat and talked to somebody for literally hours, right? I've cried with people. Yeah. I've hugged people and let them cry on my shoulder. I've shed tears with them, right? Yeah. And listened to the it's as adults we have adult-sized problems, and it's hard to have really good adult friends because life just gets in the way of all kinds of things, right? And how many other opportunities are there or how many other things are there that give you those opportunities that pickleball does? And I mean, I've had so many people say that pickleball literally saved their lives. And now people that don't play pickleball watching this like, oh, yeah, that sounds dramatic.
It's not. People consider cliche,
but it's not. That's literal. That's not just figurative. I mean, like literally has saved their lives. I've heard grown men say, "Oh yeah, if it weren't for pickleball, I probably wouldn't be here." Yeah. And at any given time, I have 2 to 3 to 4 or 5 people that I kind of keep in mind that I'll reach out to and just say, "Hey man, how you doing?" Like because they're injured, they haven't been able to participate with the fam, right? Or they've got stuff going on, right? And so you just reach out, and they've done the same for me. So that was a good reminder why I do it, because as I've gone through stuff, they've done the same thing for me. They reach out and just say, "Hey man, how you doing?" When I had my shoulder surgery, I was out for quite a while, and I had really good friends reach out to me and make sure I was doing okay. I have friends now that are out for stuff, and we get together and we make sure that they still know that they're loved and cared for. But and that's all because of pickleball. Yeah. A couple years ago now, almost, we lost a few members of the pickleball community. One particularly, Landon Daly. Yep. Landon was a good reminder of staying connected to each other, right? Because he had kind of his life had kind of taken him some different directions, and he had moved and stuff, and so a lot of us kind of fell out of contact with him. And Landon and I were friends, and he was friends with a lot of people. He was one of those guys that got a lot of us into pickleball and really helped us excel. And I had not been really in contact with him for a while, and just as I reconnected with him, he had moved back, and I reconnected with him, and I reached out to him when I knew he was going through some stuff, and it was only a week or two before that I had reconnected with him, and we'd played a couple times, and then I played with him one day, and the very next day is when he took his life. And I know it's not my fault or anything, but I always felt like, man, where were we all? Yeah. Like, why weren't we doing even a better job? And I know a lot of people felt that way. Yeah. And I think since then, there's been an even more conscious of an effort to stay connected, and people are constantly like, I get messages all the time, "How you doing?" from people that I know well and some that I don't even know well. They're like, "I heard this, how you doing?" I mentioned to you guys, I've recently gone through divorce, and Rebecca, my ex, may watch this. Super amicable. She's an amazing person, one of the sweetest people in this entire world. She knows I feel that way. She really is. And nobody could say otherwise. She really is. Very amicable anyway. So, but divorce is hard. Everything about it's hard. And I've had just so many people making sure I'm okay. Right. There's days I don't go play, and they're like, "Hey, where were you today? We missed you." right? If you're going through these things by yourself, it's so much harder, right?
Yeah.
And right now I can think of a handful of people that are going through stuff, right? And I and others reach out to them all the time. And I went to dinner this week, a couple times with people that are just making sure I'm doing good.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I could talk about that for days, but it is we all relate to it, right? Yeah. So to answer your question in a not very succinct way, that's one of the most important parts of pickleball. I'm never going to get paid to play pickleball. Right. I'm not going to become a pro at any kind of legitimate level, right? But I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning at 5:30 and go play with some buddies at the Pickler because they're my friends and I have adult friends, which is a really hard thing to do as an adult, right? In our busy lives.
That's true.
And we'll probably talk about everything but pickleball while we're there. Right?
Yeah. That was really good, Nick. Thank you. Yeah. I loved it because I just feel like I can relate on so many levels. And I think, I recently told somebody that I had started a podcast with Rob, and they asked what it was about. And I said pickleball and mental health, and they initially laughed. And I get it, because if you say like, it is kind of weird if you're not in pickleball, you don't understand how those things can intertwine. But when you're in pickleball, you 100% understand it, because it isn't pickleball that saved your life. It is the community. Mm-hmm. It is it as a whole that really, like, I know it has saved my life. And it's not the knowing the sport, but it's feeling like I am good at something, feeling like I do something. And then I'm also exercising, and I've got this community of people who, same thing, I've also cried with. I've been there for people who've cried. But I mean, if it wasn't for the pickleball community, I don't know how I would have gotten through several different points in my life. Stevie loves you. He loves you so much. It's driving me crazy.
I could feel that I was getting emotional.
Yeah, maybe. He doesn't do that to me when I get emotional. He's like, you need your space.
I couldn't agree more. And I hope that those I've interacted with know that I feel that way, right? And I think they do, because I try to be attentive to those things and reach out to people the way they've done for me, and it really meant so much to me. The sport's fun, pickleball's fun,
right? Yep.
But that's the least important part of it,
right?
By far.
I agree. I think something else you mentioned about your dad kind of feeling like he was at his own funeral, and then you just mentioned, like, I think people know. I think it's a good reminder to tell the people in your life when they mean something to you. Don't wait till their funeral to have to do that, when they've made an impact on you, which is hard sometimes, right? Like, sometimes you might not still have that connection with somebody, or it's like uncomfortable to like get really deep with somebody. And I know you've mentioned before, like, men don't really like express their feelings, but like, why are we waiting until someone dies to talk about all the good about them? Like, share that information with them now.
For sure.
And check on your pickleball friends and your pickleball partners.
Please do.
Because that's, I mean, you just never know. And I don't remember if it was on the podcast or if it was just another conversation I've had, but we've seen a lot of comedians commit suicide. So it's like people who just seem happy on the outside aren't always happy. And I think it's, I think it was last February, I had a girls' night we did like a Galentine's night. And, I am the happiest I've been since my divorce. I know that I've seen a change. A lot of people have said that they've seen a change, not just in my appearance, but just my persona. I know that I'm a completely different person. And maybe a lot of that's not just because I'm not in this marriage that I was unhappy in, but I think it's because I've grown a lot. I've been single. I've learned, all these things. And so I've grown. So I know that on the exterior, I probably seem like I'm thriving, and I am, but I also get sad. And so then I remember being at this Galentine's thing and just talking to friends, and I'm like, I don't know, like, I just feel, and I kind of broke down. And then I had friends that called me like late that night, right? Like midnight, 11, like, just checking on me. Like, I had no idea, like, you just seem like you're doing so well. And I didn't realize, and I'm like, no, it's fine. I'm fine. But then like I also am sad because then I go home and I'm alone, and that's lonely sometimes, right? Like it's great, and I'm so much happier single than I was when I was married before, but it doesn't mean that I'm not lonely. It doesn't mean that I don't get sad. It doesn't mean that I don't struggle with different things, ups and downs. And so I think it's just a good reminder that even when people seem good, they might not be. So just be checking on your people. And I think it's a good reminder for me, because now, like, as you were mentioning that, not that I wasn't listening to you, but I'm going through my head. I was like, oh my God, I got to check on so-and-so and this person and this person. I've got a whole list now, and I'll probably text you and then you'll respond, and I won't respond for another month. So apologies, but just know I'm always thinking of, I'm kind of the worst texter.
I don't think you could ever do it too much. You know what I mean? I don't think anybody's ever going to have a problem with you saying, "Hey, how you doing?"
Right.
But but you may have missed an opportunity by not saying it. Right.
Right.
And I had just a couple of weeks ago somebody that I didn't, my divorce stuff. It's not a secret, but it's not something I announced on Facebook or anything. And people just kind of find out through the grapevine and stuff. And one of my buddies at pickleball, he just said, "Hey man, sorry, I heard you going through this, or whatever." And he said, "Hey, I went through that too." And we just started talking, and we'd never had those kind of conversations before. But it means a lot to know that you have people because who else are we going to turn to, right? And so that's part of the mental health of it, but also just the actual. When you're playing pickleball and you miss a stupid shot that we call a dink, right? And you're about ready to lose your mind. It's not because of the dink, right? It's because of everything else you've got in your life, right? And you're crying over spilled milk, but you're about ready to lose your mind over spilled milk, right? And I know the guys I've played with have seen me, I'll get mad. I've thrown my paddle and I'm like, and it's not because of the pickleball. I'm playing rec, right? It's nothing, but those are the moments when I was at my wit's end with life, right? And I may have had a really hard night the night before, just reconciling the challenges and why my life is not playing out exactly the way I expected it to, right? And then the very next morning I'm there playing, and a wiffle ball, goes off my paddle the wrong way, and now I'm furious, right? It's a good release, and so many times when someone has seen me not be myself or overreact over something so dumb, they'll come up to me after and be like, "You doing good?" Because those two things don't go together, right? That your reaction to that thing wasn't right, and I'm like, "Nah, I've had a hard time." They're like, "Let's talk about it," right? Or they'll call me and say, "Hey, you want to go to dinner?" Yeah. Man, I mean that goes so far for people, right? When they're going through, and everybody's got their stuff. Nobody. I know that people from the outside, and I've had people tell me this, they look like we just had everything, right? We've got 5 kids, and we got our home and job, and everything just looked great from the outside, and just it was a surprise to a lot of people and us in a lot of ways. And but everybody's got their stuff, right? Yeah, everybody's got their stuff.
Yeah, you never know what's going on in somebody's life. I think
it's safer to assume they've got something going on.
Yeah. But I do want to say, with that being said, and I had a friend reach out that had listened to the podcast, and he had said, "Hey, like, I feel so bad. I didn't realize like you weren't at work and you weren't getting paid. And I feel bad that I've like been venting about how bad work's been for me." And I was like, well, whoa. We're both allowed to have challenges that we can vent to each other about, and you can talk about. Like, don't feel like because you think someone else's issues are worse that you don't have your own issues, or they're not valid, because they certainly are. And sometimes for me, when I was going through my divorce, I remember friends would be like, "Oh, you don't want to hear about it." I'm like, "No, I absolutely want to hear about all of your ailments, because it will distract me for a minute, but also like let me pay it back to you. You've been here for me. Let me be a friend to you." And I think that's a good reminder for anybody that's holding in because maybe you don't feel like your friend or your family or your pickleball partner want to hear about your struggles. If they're your friend or your family, they absolutely want to hear about it, and they want to be there to support you. And if you've supported them, give them the opportunity to pay it back to you, I think is really important. And I wanted to say that. I'm kind of glad our conversation went in that direction, because I felt bad that he felt like he shouldn't have said anything. I'm like, I'm your friend. Like, you should be able to talk to me. And regardless of what's going on in my life, I was happy to be out of work for a month. Okay.
Yeah. And everybody's problems are real to them, right? Even when we jokingly say, "Oh man, first world problems." Well, a first world problem is a real problem to that person that lives in that first world, right? It's still a real problem, right? Yeah. We're all very privileged to live where we live and have the lives we have, but problems are real, right? Right. Marriages, existential crisis, whatever a person's going through, they're all so real, and they make all those other things that make a first world life not even mean anything.
Right.
Right. It has nothing to do with your material things at that point, right? None of that matters if you can't handle the rest of it. And that's where people do such a good job stepping in.
Yeah. Agreed. This is good conversation.
This is really good.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I feel like you led the whole thing, and I feel like we owe you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Long-winded.
No, it was great.
It was perfect.
Yeah, it was perfect, honestly. Yeah. Do you have any like follow-up questions or anything?
Nothing as well as
I know.
what we just talked about.
I know.
I was going to ask, like, what's your go-to paddle?
I've been using the Perseus right now, the Yola.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I've loved it. I'm not someone that switches paddles often.
Okay.
Partly because I feel like everything I pick up, I'm like, oh, that's new and different, and therefore I like it. Like we talked about, like it just. But I feel like once I find something that works for me, then I should probably stick with it, because the problems have a lot less to do with the paddle than me, right?
Yeah.
Like I can blame it all I want on the paddle, but it's probably I should just do better at that shot, whatever paddle I'm using. Right. So, but I've liked the Yola for the last few years. I had a lot of them break for a while, but this new series, these have been pretty good, and as long as I don't throw it on the ground, then it seems to survive well. But that's been
or your knee,
slapping the thigh or head.
Yeah.
But it's been my go-to.
Wait, have you seen someone besides the pro? I forget her name.
That woman that like hits her head.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to call out Mike Kelly again.
Oh, he did talk about it a little bit.
Well, he talked about how he breaks paddles and stuff. So it was fun. I thought he was going to drop my name again there, because I've stopped him from breaking paddles during tournaments. Like he's about ready to go, and I go, and I'm like, whoa, and I'll grab his arm, like, dude, and he's like, all right. I love this. But this is in our early days where you're working so hard to get better, and then you're like, why do I still suck at that shot? I've pressed it. His, like, I would slap my thigh, he would hit his head, and we'd all be like, geez. He's like, that doesn't hurt as bad as your thigh. And he's probably right. When you slap your thigh hard enough, it really stings. But he would always hit his head with his paddle.
Oh my God.
How does that not hurt? I don't know.
Yeah.
I
people would give him
calf.
Yeah.
But
I hit my thigh, but I've actually like been fanning myself, because I get hot flashes really bad, and I've been getting them really bad with pickleball. And so I like fan myself, and I've like sliced I've hit my face way more than anybody else has hit my face.
Sounds like you need to drill that.
Yeah.
If you can't measure, if the proprioception's not there.
I'm like, that's maybe why I shouldn't play with the elongated paddles anymore. But my depth perception's off. I don't know, but that hurts. And so I imagine like your head.
He would always hit his head like that, and we'd be like, Mike, stop it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Good thing he had that.
Sorry,
knee
Mike,
surgery.
for calling you out. Yeah.
Good thing he had that. He's like, plenty of people have probably seen him do that.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh. I love that. I love that you've called him out several times.
Because he didn't. Yeah, he left me out of his story.
Yeah, sure.
I was dumbfounded when I seen a video of that pro do it, because I was like, that makes you look kind of insane.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I've seen that. Yeah.
Did you, so I know you play at a 5.0 level. Do you drill often, or because you mentioned like you play throughout the week. Do you, did you drill a lot to get to where you're at?
I did drill more. I've never been a huge driller. I should have done it a lot more. I'm sure I would have gotten better quicker.
Yeah, I think we all say that, right?
Yeah, but I was never a huge driller. I want to play to have fun, and it's way more fun just to play.
Yeah.
That's probably why I plateau, right? But
I would rather plateau at a 5 than like a 3.54.
Where I'm at.
Well, yeah. I mean, and I'm barely I think I'm just below 5 right now. I did a tournament a little bit ago, and it dropped me a bunch, and I haven't.
We're not paying attention to Jupiter here.
And I haven't even done a tournament since. But I guess point being that no, I haven't drilled a lot. I do try to be conscious of when I'm playing rec to try some new stuff, but I don't do a great job of that either. 2 hours will go by, and I'm like, I didn't do that one thing one time today.
Yeah.
I swore I was going to do this all day today, and I didn't do it once. You just go out to start winning, right?
Right.
So I do try to play to the better player when we play rec, just even if I'm gonna lose, but that helps me get better.
Yeah.
Instead of playing away from him.
That's smart.
Yeah.
You know what? Huh. All right.
So years ago, do you guys remember who Nate Bray was?
No.
So Nate Bray, he's one of the OGs from the area. Played a ton of pickleball around here. He was super good before any of us even were hardly playing pickleball, and he's since moved on. Lives in California, I think now. Anyway, I remember him telling me one time, he's like, you don't get good until you stop trying to win your rec games. So you go out there, instead of trying to win, you're going out to just get better.
Right.
And I remember being like, okay, I got to start when I go out and play. I'm gonna find the best player on the other team and just play to them a lot.
That's smart.
Not avoid, play to them until I figure them out.
Yeah.
I'll probably lose more, and I still do, and I still lose way too much. I'm lucky that I play with a lot of really good players that are all better than me. But that's what helps, right?
Yeah.
So
no, that's a great tip.
So that's my goal, is to just I'll try to drop to them, try to play straight with them when I can, still try to make the right shot, but figure out how to try to neutralize what it is that they get me on every time, right?
Yeah.
So that helps with some repetition, I guess, and that's probably the closest thing to drilling, but it's kind of like a real-time drilling. It's playing to the better player and then just figuring them out. And then you find, ironically, I think that when you do that, now you're giving them the ball that you want them to hit. Mm-hmm. You oftentimes then start winning more than before, especially with people that are big on the court, right? Big poachers and stuff like that, right? A poacher wants a ball that's not for them.
Correct. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. That's where they're good. So give them the ball that you want them to have.
Right.
Right. And with really good players, you give them the ball that you would rather them that you decide they're going to hit, not the ones that they get to create something out of. Right.
Right.
And the better you get at that, then the easier you can defend against them. Right.
Yeah, that's actually really good.
I mean, that's easy to say and hard to do, but it's.
No, I like that a lot. Yeah, I think I'm going to start doing that.
Yeah, I try. I mean, when I play mixed, I'm getting the balls anyways. I feel that, and I've said that on the podcast before, like, hit them to me. It's just going to make me a better player.
Yeah, you get a lot of balls.
But today, when I was losing all the games, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to start working on my shots. And so that's what I did. Because I've been trying to work on a double-handed return, like the backhand return. So that's what I kept doing. And one of the last games with my partner, he was like, I think I lost like 3 return because I was like hitting him just right into the net. And I was like, sorry, I'm just trying to work on that shot. And I was like, maybe not the right time because we were down like 7-0. And he's like, maybe not. And I was like, sorry. It's Sunday pickleball, first of all. Yeah, so, but we did just joke about it. I mean, we were both missing because we were playing against 2 really, really good players. So it was it was a fun morning. But then I left there and I was like, I hope I didn't upset anybody because I was like, they were like, oh, let's get you up to top court, and I was like, it's not going to happen today.
Well, and it does happen sometimes, and there's those really good players where people are avoiding them, and that's not fun for anybody. And we've all been that player at different times where depending on who you're playing with, you may not see a ball, and that's no fun.
That doesn't happen to me, Nick.
Well, that means you're playing with good players, and so you're seeing a lot of balls.
Yes.
But there's. So I think it's, you want these good players to enjoy it too, and so it's good for them and good for you. And, and I probably lose more games because I play them balls, but that's how.
But you're just getting better. Yeah, that's great.
I think I take on the challenge, and and I might get 1 out of 30, and I usually make it known that I got the 1 out of the 30. I'll be like, yes, I was like, I'm now 1 for 30 against you in that shot. But that's 1 more than I was getting the day before, right?
Yeah, that's great. I know. I talk a lot of shit on the court and immediately miss the next shot every single time.
Trash talk backfires always.
Every time for me. I'm like, I should know better. I didn't have anything else to.
So, what shot are you known for?
Here we go. Oh, what's your favorite?
I am definitely backhand dominant.
Yeah.
I think that's what I'd be known for. I think I'm a consistent dinker. I'm very much a patient player, and early on I was very. So when I came up with Mike, who's very aggressive and active and high flying, and he's got a lot of like hero shots and really athletic shots. So the idea was with us was I was going to be the consistent one. I would get a lot of drops and dinks. I'd try to get good at drops, and then he would go and charge, right. And at the 4-0 and 4-5 level, that was like we would dominate with the kind of that setup. As time went on, the court kind of balances out a little bit more, and people aren't afraid to, try to get a ball behind somebody or do other things. But I that made me become a very defensive player, and so I definitely get into like the slow grind out game. I'm better at that than I am at when people are playing fast and chaotic.
So are you really good at like resetting then?
Yeah, I would say that's my strength is resets. I'm trying to I always try to get better at the blocking and stuff like that, because people I know that's a strategy for people if they're down against me and my team, they're gonna just start driving and speeding up everything at me.
Right.
Yep.
And that's forced me to get better at that, because I've lost a lot of games because I got killed by that. and they won't get in the grind. If they'll get into the dinking game with me, I'm good at moving people and angles. And I would say people would probably say I have a lot of deceptive shots, and that's probably my strength. But as far as aggressive shots, it would be my backhand for sure. So if someone goes to my backhand, they know that's usually what I'm best at, and so they'll most players that know that will try to target my forehand because I'm just not as good with my forehand for whatever reason. I'm just comfortable backhand heavy.
And if anybody didn't know that, they know that now.
They know that now. Yeah. So there you go.
So Bring
it so I get better.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Yeah, they figured it out real quick when I have a shot that's like right here and I'm like backhand, right? Like what?
Yeah. I feel like I favor my backhand. Like because especially when I'm playing the right, I mess with I'm sure I piss so many people off. So sorry. Yeah. But because I go for all their forehands because I feel more comfortable with my backhand. So I really should probably start on the left, I would think. Because maybe then I'm not in everybody's way, I guess. But I'm not always the stronger player. So to put me over there is dumb.
No, I'm definitely backhand on it, but I'm trying to lean on my forehand a little bit more because I know I'll always get to my backhand. So I'm trying to force myself to, and I have been for years, keep my paddle up in more of a forehand position. So I'm ready for the forehand. Okay. Because I know I naturally get to my backhand quick, but that's one of the things that, at 1 hour and 55 minutes in, I'm like, I didn't even use my forehand today. That was my one goal, and I've been using all my backhand, right? So just way too much.
It's funny. But that's usually how long it takes me to realize I'm playing against a lefty. I'm like, oh. Wait a minute. Yeah. Wait, you are left-handed?
Every middle shot has come right back down my throat.
Yeah. Well, why? Yeah. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Oh, good question.
Yeah. All right. That's all I have. Thank you. This was so good. Thank you so much. It was a great conversation.
Thank you guys for having me.
There's a lot of takeaways from this conversation. A lot to unpack too. A lot to think about. Yeah. Well, you presented a lot of good information.
I know. Yeah. I'm going to go back and listen to the full thing.
Yeah.
Slow motion.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Clearly, I'm an overthinker.
No, it's good. No. Yeah. It was great conversation. Really good things to take away. And I loved learning about the Spanish. Like, I actually love that you speak Spanish like fully to your it's so interesting. Cool.
I never know if people think that's interesting or just like odd. Sometimes people are like, they give me just the weirdest looks and almost roll their eyes. I'm like, well, but most people think it's
let's find out what's going on in their homes.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, then we can figure out if they're welcome to judge.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. It's an interesting thing though.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on. Thanks for your service.
Yeah,
this was great.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for recognizing. I this year I felt like Veterans Day just kind of came and went, and I didn't even realize it. It's not a lot of hoopla around it, so this was cool.
Yeah, I think this is a good way to honor our local veterans. And then as like the weeks have gone on, I'm like, oh, I learned somebody else is a veteran. I'm like, oh, we'll just have to have them on or recognize them in another way.
Yeah, for sure.
I would love it. But and good luck to you. I know this is a new chapter in your life, and wishing you the best. And
it's
as you learn to navigate it.
Yeah, a lot of navigation. Mm-hmm. It's exciting. It comes with emotion, and there's hard parts about it. But like I said, we're doing great. The family's doing well with it, and it gives you new perspectives, right? Anything that's painful makes you look at things different, right? And new perspectives. And even when it comes to pickleball, right? Like my approach to pickleball, I think is changing as well. Right? Yeah. Just about what I want to get out of it, and it's more about the relationships and the fun. And I always play with like the same groups, and I love that group, and I'm going to continue to play with them. But I also look to just meet new people in the pickleball world and play with people and just play just to have fun, right? So it doesn't have to be the pickleball part of it doesn't have to be so important, right? It's about the other stuff. So
I think Mike mentioned after his knee surgery he came back and he had kind of seen a different perspective too. So I think like hard times make you look at it a little differently.
What's the point of it all? You start asking yourself, right?
Yeah, and then I think, I like the connection part, but I've been working on that too. Which is, I say working on that. I do those 4 pillars a day, that I kind of copied from Zach Spencer. But honestly, like it's been like the best year doing that. I do like this. I try to do something that's like work, play, connect, and give every day. And that was like my New Year's resolution. It was kind of in lieu of my New Year's resolution this year. And it's been super rewarding. And then I add gratitude into that as well. But the connection part, because there's so many people at pickleball that I'm like, I think I played with Brooke for like a year, like on and off, like at different Sundays. And then it was just like maybe a month and a half ago. I was like, what do you do for work?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Connecting another level.
Yeah. Just learning something new about somebody that you have played with or that you do see periodically. It makes a big difference. And I think I think the more connection, I mean, what's the, the negatives that are going to come from building connections with people?
No, not many.
Yeah.
And I think it's easy to get to stay in our groups because it's comfortable, right? Which is not bad. I mean, we've got this massive group of so many people, and that's amazing. But there's so many people I don't know. Like I was there this morning playing, and I looked around the gym, and I saw people. I think I saw Mike Hadley and Viner there, like guys that I used to know when I was coming up, and I haven't seen them for a long time. So we jumped in, and we started playing some games together, and I've met 3 or 4 new people this week that I've never played with before, and they're great players. And I don't even care what level any of us are on. I enjoy playing with new people all the time. And I think that sometimes a lot of people that are at one level, they will think that people that are another level won't play with them, all that stuff. And that does happen. That's true.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be that guy. And I've got great players I get to play with, and they let me play with them, and I'm grateful for that. Right. And I want to be able to interact with groups at all levels and just to be friends,
right? Because there's amazing people at all the levels.
That has nothing to do with the pickleball,
right?
That's where it's not. That's way more important than the pickleball. Like I'm meeting you guys today, and for now on, when I see you, I have 2 new friends. So I want it. That's how my focus as far as pickleball goes is shifting.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I think that's a great shift.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks again.
Yeah.
And we'll be on again next week.
Yeah.
Will we? Actually?
Yeah, next week.
Oh, yeah. We do have. I was like, wait.
Yep. But come December.
Yeah, we'll have a little pause.
Yeah, we're going to have a pause. Well, we'll do a few things, but we're gearing up for 2026.
Yeah.
New and improved.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully.
Yeah, we'll see.
Figure something else out with this whole setup. Yeah. So, okay. All right. Well, thank you again.
Yeah, truly appreciate it.
We'll talk to you next week.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Bye.